Chapter 2639. Book 1, Chapter 84. There were 3 beautiful women. One had long silver hair and looked quite similar to Ziyen, one wore a red dress and looked quite similar to Hong Yen, and one had long icy hair and a graceful figure. The moment they arrived, they looked at Ziyen and Hong Yen. Seeing the 3 beautiful women, Ziyen and Hong Yen walked up and happily called out, "Mother." Zhao Fu was not surprised by their identities, as he already knew who they were. The red-dressed woman was called Hong Qian, and she smiled as she said, "So you're fine. You made us worry for nothing." Hong Yen and Ziyen looked at the 3 beautiful women in confusion. The silver-haired woman was called Ziyu, and she smiled as she said, "We heard that something shocking had happened in this region, and we were worried that you would be in danger, so we hurried over to find you." Hong Yen looked at Zhao Fu. The thing that Ziyu was talking about was the appearance of a primal chaos child, and Zhao Fu was that primal chaos child. The ice-haired woman was called Bing Qingqing, and she asked, "Did you obtain that sword?" Hong Qian and Ziyu looked at Hong Yen and Ziyu. Hong Yen nodded her head and took out the sword of snatching collar. "This is the sword." Hong Qian took the sword and looked at it carefully. Indeed, this is the sword of the number 1 expert from back then. With it we can cultivate the final level of the cultivation technique and open the treasury. Ziyu smiled as she said, "Since we've obtained the sword, let's go back." At that moment, Bing Qingqing looked at Zhao Fu and the others and asked, "Who are they?" Hong Qian and Ziyu realized that there were other people. Just then, they had been completely focused on their daughter, and had not paid attention to Zhao Fu and the others. Hong Yen said shyly, "That's our man, the others are his women, and the other 2 men are his followers." Hong Qian looked quite confused. "He's your man?" Hong Yen shyly nodded. Ziyu looked at her daughter. Ziyen said, "He's also my man and we're all his women." Ziyu frowned. "What's going on? Why did you find a man after going out?" Hong Yen and Ziyen looked at Zhao Fu. They could not say that Zhao Fu had forcefully taken them, nor did they dare to say who Zhao Fu was. The 3 beautiful women coldly looked at Zhao Fu. Their intuition told them that Zhao Fu had done something to their daughters, or else their daughters would not have found a man. Facing the 3 women's gazes, Zhao Fu did not feel any fear at all. The 3 women only had Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, and he smiled as he said, "Your 2 daughters like me, so they became my women." Zhao Fu was incredibly shameless. Not only did he forcefully take Hong Yen and Ziyen, but he also said that they liked him, even though they were willing to become his women. Zhao Qingqing, Zichen said, "True. Editor, if he dares to bully you, I'll take care of him for you right now." Hong Yen did not want to fight with her mother and Zhao Fu, so she hurriedly said, "He's very good to us and did not do anything to us." Only then did Ziyu feel at ease and looked at Zhao Fu. "Who are you? Do you know who my daughter is?" Zhao Fu replied, "I'm just a minor figure. I also know who your daughter is." Ziyu coldly harumphed, "You're just a minor figure. Not only are you not worthy of my daughter, but you also have so many women. I hope you can give me an answer." Zhao Fu asked, "What answer?" Ziyu said coldly, "First, give up on your other women and marry into our family, and we'll give you riches. Second, obediently leave and don't disturb our daughter in the future." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "What if I don't choose?" Ziyu said coldly, "Then don't blame us for being impolite to you. Don't think that just because you're my daughter's man, I won't act against you. Someone like you is not worthy of being my daughter's man." Ziyen knew about Zhao Fu's identity, and she hurriedly said, "Mother, don't say that, I'm not worthy of him." Hearing her daughter's shameless words, Ziyu felt quite angry. "Do you know who you are? How can you say such a thing?" Hong Yen said, "We clearly know who we are, but with our status we are indeed not worthy of him." Even though Hong Yen and Ziyen were from an emperor-level faction, so what if they were from an emperor-level faction? Those words caused Hong Yen and the other 2 women to feel quite startled. They looked at Zhao Fu and Bing Qingqing said, "Just who are you?" Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You want to know? If you become my woman, I'll tell you." Bing Qingqing said furiously, "Impudent!" Boom! Bing Qingqing slammed out with her palm, and a wave of energy mixed with wind and snow ferociously slammed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he slashed out with his finger, sending out a black sword light that slashed apart that wave of energy, causing it to turn into two streams of cold light that dissipated. Bing Qingqing and the other two women's expressions fell as they cried out, "You're also at the Emperor Heaven Realm." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and gave off a trace of domineeringness as he said, You didn't expect this, did you? I'll give you two choices. Either voluntarily become my woman and serve me, or passively become my woman and serve me." Bing Qingqing looked furious as she said, "Don't think that we'll be afraid of you just because you're at the Emperor Heaven Realm. The three of us will attack together and teach this arrogant fellow a lesson." Hong Qian and Ziyu also looked quite angry. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would dare to say such a thing to them. Ziyan and Hong Yan hurriedly tried to stop him, but the three women had already started to attack Zhao Fu from three different directions towards Zhao Fu. Aracena rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. She knew about Zhao Fu's hobbies. Everyone else retreated to the side. Zhao Fu gave a faint smile and stood where he was, not moving at all. Bing Qingqing's palm gave off an icy aura as it slammed towards Zhao Fu from the front. Zhao Fu leaned to the side and easily dodged this attack, while Hong Qian grabbed at Zhao Fu from the left. Zhao Fu grabbed her wrist and pulled her into his embrace as he hugged Hong Qian, causing her face to become red. Seeing this, Ziyu was infuriated and attacked with her full strength. Her fist brought with it a powerful gale as it punched towards Zhao Fu, seeming to be able to shatter a mountain. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as that terrifying fist was easily caught by Zhao Fu with a single hand, causing Ziyu to look quite confused. Whoosh! The temperature in the surroundings plummeted as Bing Qingqing vigorously attacked towards Zhao Fu from behind. She had only wanted to teach Zhao Fu a lesson, but she used all of her strength as her palm brought with it a massive icy wind as it slammed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not dodge and instead gave off a powerful aura, forming a black dragon inscription barrier that blocked that icy wind. Chapter 2640. Book 1. Chapter 855 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Micir. Zhao Fu grabbed Ziyu's fist and pulled her into his embrace. No matter how she struggled, she could not break free. At the same time, the golden pupil in his left eye spun, and many chains shot out from the air, lightly binding Bing. In just a few moments, the three women were captured by Zhao Fu. The difference in power between them was just that great. Ziyu furiously struggled and said, "Bastard! Let go of me!" Zhao Fu ignored her and a wave of 6 desires demonic chi flowed out and entered the three women's bodies. Hong Yan and Ziyu begged, "Don't harm their mothers." However, Zhao Fu did not harm them. After staying here for half a day, Zhao Fu prepared to leave. Bing Qingqing and the three women's faces were red as they hatefully glared at Zhao Fu. Hong Yan and Ziyan were quite embarrassed. They had never thought that something like this would happen. The other women's expressions did not change, while the Lan brothers watched from afar. Zhao Fu looked at the three women and smiled as he said, "Pack up, we're going to your Steel Valley." Bing Qingqing said coldly, "Why are you going to our Steel Valley?" Hong Yan said softly, "Husband wants to see if there's anything he needs in the Steel Valley. He has no other goal." Ziyu said angrily, "That scum also treated the two of you like this, right? How could you really treat that scum as your man?" Hong Yan said embarrassedly, "Auntie Z, husband is so perfect and has such a noble status. My husband is so perfect, and his status is even more noble. Moreover, we are very happy staying by his side. You can't resist, so you might as well submit to him. It's useless even if you insist. Think about how you were just now." Ziyu's face became red and she glared at Zhao Fu. Hong Qian looked at Zhao Fu and said, "Can you tell us who you are now?" Ziyan smiled as she said, "He's the primal chaos child." Hearing this, the three women were shocked. This bastard was the primal chaos child who had shaken the entire primal chaos world? Bing Qing said seriously. "Are you sure?" Ziyan smiled. "When he caused those fluctuations, we were right beside him. The others only arrived later, so of course we can confirm his identity." I said coldly. "I heard that the child of primordial chaos is the savior of the primordial chaos world, and that he will lead the primordial chaos world to prosperity. I never thought that he would be such a person. Calling him the son of bastards is more appropriate." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "Call me whatever you want. I like all three of you very much. Follow me from now on." I said softly, "Stop dreaming. We all have husbands. Don't think that we'll submit to you just because you're the son of chaos." Zhao Fu did not mind and said with a smile, "It's up to you. It's getting late, so let's hurry up. I still need to collect bronze fragments and insect blood." Bing Qingqing could not help but ask, "Why are you collecting so many things?" Ziyan smiled and said, "He's not just the child of chaos. He's also the successor of the first evil immortal, and the bronze shard he collected is an origin weapon." Bing Qingqing and the others once again looked shocked. They knew about the legend of the first evil immortal, but how terrifying would the first evil immortal and the origin race be? The result would be unimaginable. Following this, the women packed up, and Zhao Fu called Lan Qingyuan and Zhao Fu back before flying towards Do Valley. After a day or so, Zhao Fu and the others arrived at Do Valley. As an Emperor-class faction, Do Valley was indeed quite powerful. It was as big as 30 or so worlds, and its basic forces were at Stage 4. It also nurtured a type of insect, and had a few peak-stage Dao realm experts. Zhao Fu found out that Bing Qingqing and the others were Do Valley's elders. Their statuses were quite high, but they were not the ones in charge of Do Valley. After entering Do Valley, Zhao Fu asked, "Where is the treasure trove?" Zhao Fu's goal here was the treasure trove. He was not interested in anything else. Ziyu glared at Zhao Fu and said, "Why are you in such a hurry? The treasure trove is not as easy to open as you think." Zhao Fu asked, "Tell me the specifics of the treasure trove." Ziyu said, "The treasure trove was left behind by the number 1 expert back then, and it's at the center of Do Valley. In order to open the treasure trove, someone with the snatching sword must break through 3 barriers. Only then can the treasure trove be opened." Zhao Fu frowned and said, "It's that complicated? What's inside the treasure trove? If there's nothing too precious, I'll be leaving." Hearing that it was quite complicated, Zhao Fu did not want to waste any more time here. Moreover, after opening the treasure trove, there might not be anything that Zhao Fu wanted, and Zhao Fu had many things to do. Bing lightly harumphed and said, "Hurry up and leave. I'll also tell you that the person with the snatching sword must be someone from the younger generation and must be very powerful. Otherwise, if they cannot break through the 3 barriers, they will not be able to open the number 1 expert's treasure trove." Zhao Fu felt quite displeased, and he lightly pulled Bing into his embrace and bullied her. Bing's face was slightly red as she said softly, "We don't know what's inside, but there should be a legacy left behind by the number 1 expert. However, it won't be of much use to you." Zhao Fu was not interested at all and said, "Then go back and pack up and come with me." Hong Yen said, "Husband, do you really not want to open the treasure trove? Back then, the number 1 expert in Do Valley collected many treasures, and perhaps the origin weapon you're looking for is among them. Apart from the origin weapon, you might be able to obtain other useful things." Hearing this, Zhao Fu started to think and made a decision. "All right, I'll stay here for a while and see if your treasure trove can be opened." Ziyan smiled as she said, "Then you'll have to watch our performance." Following this, the group continued onwards and came to a mountain. There was a stage here, and there were many stone pillars with diagrams of battles engraved on them. There was also a 3-meter-tall, 2-meter-wide stone door on the stage. This was the door to the treasure trove. Apart from these things, there were also many soldiers giving off powerful auras standing guard, all of them looking serious and resolute. When Zhao Fu and the others came to the stage, they were stopped by these soldiers. The leader of the soldiers asked Bing Qing and the others, "Elders, what have you come here for? This place is off-limits to everyone." Bing Qing said, "We've obtained the Do Ling sword, and we're about to open the number 1 expert's treasure trove." The soldier said, "Elders, please wait here. This is a major matter, and we can't make the decision on our own. We need to report this to the higher-up." Bing Qing lightly nodded. The soldier immediately left, and after a while, the soldier said, "Elders, the other elders want you to go over and hold a meeting." Bing Qing and the others thought for a moment before replying, "We understand." Following this, Bing Qing and the others went to attend the meeting, while Hong Yan brought Zhao Fu and the others to where they were staying. Chapter 2641. Book 1, Chapter 86. An hour later, Bing Qingqing, Ziyu, and Hong Qian returned. Apart from them, there were 3 middle-aged men walking beside them. One was tall and skinny, and he was called Bai Lang. One was dressed in purple, and he was called Honghe. Bing Qingqing had said that they all had men, and she had not lied to Zhao Fu. The 3 men were their husbands. Bai Lang walked into the room and looked at Zhao Fu and the others as he asked, "Who are you?" In order to avoid trouble, Zhao Fu said, "We're Hong Yan's friends." Bai Lang smiled as he said, "If you're Hong Yan's friends, then stay in Do Valley for a few more days and see the local customs." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Bing Qingqing bitterly glared at Zhao Fu. Honghe looked at skeletal eyebrows and the other women and gave an interested smile, but he did not say anything because Hong Qian was by his side. Hong Yan turned her face away, not daring to look at Zhao Fu. They only treated Zhao Fu and the others as Hong Yan's friends and did not pay much attention to Zhao Fu and the others as they left. Zhao Fu and the others temporarily stayed there. At night, the 12 moons gave off a bright moonlight, and there were a few wisps of clouds in the deep blue sky. 3 beautiful women lay in Zhao Fu's embrace, their faces rosy and beautiful, while the other women were on the other side. Zhao Fu looked at them and asked, "Why are you holding a meeting?" Bing Qingqing said, "Opening the treasure trove is a big event for Do Valley, so we need to prepare for a few days and gather all of the younger generation to open the treasure trove." Zhao Fu felt quite surprised and asked, "Is it that difficult to open the treasure trove?" Bing Qingqing replied, "Of course, it's the treasure trove left behind by Do Valley's number 1 expert, and it contains his legacy. Ordinary geniuses won't be able to open it." Zhao Fu frowned. "Is it possible that the treasure trove can't be opened? Also, with so many people gathered here, how am I supposed to take anything from the treasure?" Now, things had developed beyond Zhao Fu's expectations. Not only was it possible that the treasure trove could not be opened, but it was also possible that even if it was opened, Zhao Fu would not be able to enter with so many people present. It was even more impossible for him to force his way in. This was someone else's territory, and doing so would be courting death. Hong Yan said softly, "Husband, if I open the treasury, I will bring out what you need." Ziyan also said, "Don't look down on us. Although we can't compare to you, we are still famous geniuses in this region." Zhao Fu chuckled. "I'll leave it to you then." Right now, there didn't seem to be any other way. He could only ask Ziyan and Hong Yan to see if there was anything Zhao Fu needed. If there wasn't, then he would have wasted so much time. Hong Qian said softly, "You haven't told me what to do with our relationship from now on. It's not good to continue like this." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "What's wrong with this?" Bing Qingqing said angrily, "You're a scoundrel." Ziyu said coquettishly, "You scoundrel, we're already your people, yet you still bully us. If you don't resolve this matter, don't even think about seeing us again." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "What can we do? After this matter is resolved, you can leave with me." Bing Qingqing said somewhat reluctantly, "We've been in Dou Valley for so many years, and we've long since gotten used to this place. Our family and friends are also here." Hong Yan said, "If we leave like this, won't we be letting down our husband? In the past, they treated us very well and we were their wives. However, we were harmed by you, and I also want to scold you." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I will do my best to make it up to them, and I promise that you won't feel sad after leaving with me." Hearing Zhao Fu's promise, the three beautiful women felt at ease. On the third day, Dou Valley was quite lively. Everyone in Dou Valley knew about the treasure trove, and some people from other factions had come to join in on the fun. It was said that anyone who obtained the legacy from the treasure trove could become the next lord of Dou Valley. This caused the countless people in Dou Valley to feel incredibly excited, and they all wanted to open the treasure trove and become the next lord of Dou Valley. Moreover, there were not many restrictions on opening the treasure trove. Anyone with a certain amount of talent and power could participate. It seemed that the higher-ups of Dou Valley were worried that no one would be able to open it, which was why the requirements were so relaxed. Zhao Fu, Hong Yan, Ziyan, and the others walked towards the stage. "Hong Yan, I heard that you brought the Lord of Dou sword back. It's a pity that you can't open the treasure trove. You've helped me greatly." "Thank you." A woman with long black hair and a haughty aura appeared in front of everyone and said mockingly. Hong Yan frowned as she said, "Hey Lon Air, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Go away." Zhao Fu looked at the woman in front of him and asked, "Who is she?" Ziyan explained somewhat angrily, "She's the daughter of an elder and has some enmity with us. She goes around opposing us, she's so annoying." Hearing this, He Lon coldly snorted, "If I become the next lord of Dou Valley, I'll show you how powerful I am." Ziyan did not back down as she said, "Then when we become the next lord of Dou Valley, you'll be in trouble." "Humph. Don't even think about becoming the next lord of Dou Valley." A muscular man with blood-red hair walked over arrogantly. Ziyan and the others' expressions changed. The blood-red-haired man was called Xue Chongkong, and he was the strongest and most talented person in Dou Valley. His status was also extremely noble, and he was viewed as the most suitable candidate to become the next lord of Dou Valley. Ziyan coldly snorted, "Xue Chongkong, don't think that the lord of Dou Valley will be yours. You'll know once you try." Xue Chongkong domineeringly laughed as he said, "Who else can become the lord of Dou Valley apart from me? Once I become the lord of Dou Valley, I want all of you to come and serve me." The three women were infuriated and glared at Xue Chongkong. At that moment, Zhao Fu indifferently said, "You might be disappointed, but the two of them are now my women." Originally, Zhao Fu did not want to cause any trouble, but when he heard Xue Chongkong's words, he could not help it. Hong Yan and Ziyan were now his women, and this person dared to bully them in such a domineering manner. Everyone present was flabbergasted. Hong Yan and Ziyan had noble statuses in Dou Valley, so how did they become his women? Ziyan smiled as she hugged Zhao Fu and said with a complacent and provocative smile, "Xue Chongkong, let me tell you, even though your talent in Dou Valley was not bad, you're nothing compared to my husband." Hearing those words, Xue Chongkong was infuriated. "Then tell me who he is." The others also looked curiously at Zhao Fu. From Ziyan's tone, they could tell that Zhao Fu's identity was most likely very terrifying. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You don't have the qualifications to know." Everyone was startled. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be even more arrogant than Xue Chongkong, daring to say such words to him. Chapter 2642. Book 1, Chapter 877. Xue Chongkong was about to attack when the people beside him hurriedly said, "Young master, the event is about to start. Let's deal with them after it's over. The legacy is more important." Hearing this, Xue Chongkong thought about it and coldly harumphed, I'll look for you later. After saying this, Xue Chongkong led his group and left. He Lan Er said, I never thought that you two would find a man so quickly. What a pity! Ziyan smiled as she said, What's there to feel pity about? We're quite happy right now. Do you want to try being our husband's woman? He Lan Er lightly harumphed, Don't even think about it. I'm not a casual woman. After saying this, He Lan Er walked forwards. Zhao Fu said, Let's go as well. The group also walked forwards and came to the stage. There were countless people gathered here, and it was impossible to see how many of them there were. Bing Qingqing found Zhao Fu and the others and smiled as she said, Hong Yan and Ziyan, you two go to the front to participate in the event. Zhao Fu, you two come with me to the viewing platform. Zhao Fu nodded. Ziyan and Hong Yan went to the open space in front of them. They did not need to register to participate in this event. Those who were qualified could stand in the open space in front of them. People continuously walked up, and there were already thousands of people. Zhao Fu followed Bing Qingqing to a specially built viewing platform. When Ziyu and Hong Yan saw Zhao Fu, they gave happy smiles and went up to greet him. Hong He frowned and felt quite displeased. The viewing platform has limited space. Just let them watch from below. Why do they have to come up? Perhaps it was because of his intuition, but Hong He did not like Zhao Fu. Bing Qingqing said rudely, There's enough space. Don't worry about that. Hong He felt quite angry and turned to Bai Lang and said, Control your woman, she's being so intimate with that boy. Otherwise, others will think that she's having an affair with him. Bai Lang dryly laughed and looked at Bing Qingqing. He felt that Bing Qingqing was indeed being too intimate with Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was only Hong Yan's friend, so it was fine for her to be polite. However, there was no need to be so intimate, right? Also, why did he feel that his wife was becoming more and more beautiful and moving? Facing Bai Lang's gaze, Bing Qingqing felt quite guilty. Hong He was right. They had betrayed her husband and had been together with Zhao Fu for the past few days. Zhao Fu suddenly smiled and said, Since there's no more space, we'll have a look from below. Hong He said, Bing Qingqing, Bing Yan, Bing, Zhao Tu Bing Tu Tu, and Bing Zhao Fu Tu and Fu and 1, and Zhao Hao Hao Bing, Bing Tu 1 1 Zhao 1 and 1 1 1 Zhao. A trace of a smile appeared on Hong He's face as he looked at Aracina and the other women playfully. Over the past few days, he had seen how beautiful these women were and was extremely tempted. It was a pity that he had not had the chance to get his hands on them. Hongha to X how to Hongha Hong 10 read. Chong Bing 2. With X 2. Bing He. Bai Lang smiled awkwardly and said, Wife, I didn't mean that. Don't be angry. I said coldly, You don't need to apologize, I'm not angry. Bai Lang felt awkward and did not say anything else. Zhao Fu and the others came to the front of the platform. At this time, there were already more than 10,000 people gathered in the open space in front of them. There were also hundreds of thousands of people watching. Some people couldn't even get on the platform and could only watch from afar. A yellow-robed old man holding a sword walked up to the stone door and shouted, Is there anyone else who wants to participate in the treasure opening event? No one answered and no one stepped forward. The yellow-robed old man glanced around, then stabbed the sword in his hand into the ground. Clang! A massive sword hum rang out and countless sword-light insects shot out from the sword. The entire platform started to shine with light and the surrounding heaven and earth power quickly gathered. Kill, 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 countless battle cries sounded out, and a massive battle aura spread out from the stone door. Transparent figures rushed out from the stone door, some holding swords, some holding sabers, some holding spears, some holding axes, some holding spears. After these transparent figures appeared, they quickly rushed towards the people standing in the open space in front of them. The people in the open space also took out various kinds of weapons. Clang, 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 both sides fought, and the scene descended into chaos. Cold light shot out and clanging sounds continuously rang out. Powerful auras spread out. Ziyen took out a saber and vigorously swung it, sending out a sharp saber light that destroyed a few of the transparent figures. With her power, dealing with these transparent figures was not a problem. However, there were some people who were unable to defeat the transparent figures and were sent flying. Those people who were sent flying lay on the ground without being attacked by the transparent figures. However, they still lost the right to continue participating. This was only the initial trial, and it was not the 3 barriers. Only those who could last until the end would have the right to use their swords to break the barriers. Those who could not last until the end did not even have the right to use their swords. Boom! Xue Changkong was worthy of being the number 1 person in the valley. He directly unleashed a blood-colored aura flame, forming a blood-colored lion that slaughtered those transparent figures. He also received countless people's attention. Xue Changkong also enjoyed this feeling of being the center of attention. Hong Yan and Ziyan's performance was also not bad. Their weapons unleashed rays of cold light that killed large swathes of the transparent figures. In truth, those who took the trial only needed to kill 20 transparent figures to not be attacked. However, killing more transparent figures also had an advantage. That was that they would be able to use their swords to break the barriers earlier. This was also very important. If the difference in strength wasn't very great, then if one person obtained a sword to open the treasury first, that person would win. Even if the second person's strength was about the same as the first person's, they wouldn't have a second chance. Countless transparent figures continued to pour out of the stone gate. The people on the stage continued to fight them, and the number of people on the stage gradually decreased. Some of the people who had lost their qualifications also retreated from the stage. After half a day, no more transparent figures came out of the stone gate. However, there were only around 500 people left. Originally, there had been around 10,000 people participating in the trial. Now, that number had dropped to around 500. This number was truly shocking. The people left on the field were more or less injured, and some of them looked exhausted. Fortunately, the next trial did not immediately begin, giving some people some time to rest and recover some of their strength. After 10 minutes, a wave of shouts once again sounded out as countless transparent figures flowed out of the stone gate. This time, not only were there more transparent figures, but they were also more powerful than last time. They gave off ferocious auras as they charged towards those who remained on the stage. Those who remained on the stage earnestly continued to fight. Even though others watched with great interest and excitement, Zhao Fu felt that it was quite boring. If it was him, he would be able to kill countless figures with a single slash of his sword. Chapter 2643. Book 1. 88. After this wave of attacks from the transparent figures, the original 500 or so people were now only left with 30 or so. The Dogu higher-ups on the viewing platforms frowned. With so many people dying, it would be even more difficult to open the treasure trove. After giving Xue Changkong and the others some time to rest, the final test began. This time, there were no sounds of fighting. Instead, a huge wave of battle intent surged out like a tidal wave, causing the surrounding atmosphere to become oppressive. More than 30 transparent figures slowly walked out from the stone door, staring coldly at Xue Changkong and the others. The expressions of Xue Changkong and the others became quite serious. These 30 or so transparent figures were more dangerous than the countless transparent figures from before. Swish! 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 The 30 or so transparent figures wielded weapons and quickly charged at Xue Changkong and the others. They hurriedly used their weapons to defend, and the two sides clashed intensely. This time, Xue Changkong and the others did not have it so easy, and the situation became quite difficult. Even the strongest Xue Changkong was suppressed by the attacks of a transparent figure. Xing! One of the transparent figures sent a wave of power into the saber in his hand, causing a saber hum to ring out. A saber image that was tens of meters long was formed, and it slashed out with berserk power, sending a young man flying far away. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood before fainting. Everyone stared at the scene in shock. This transparent figure was truly powerful. Boom! 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 As this transparent figure unleashed all of his power, the other transparent figures also exploded out with all of their power. Powerful auras spread out, causing wild gales to blow out. Xue Chongkong and the others also used all of their power, causing their bodies to burn with aura flames, giving off terrifying power. Bang! 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 The two sides clashed intensely, causing loud sounds to continuously ring out. Waves of energy continuously blasted out, causing the ground to crack and some rocks to fly out. The most eye-catching was still Xue Chongkong. His body gave off a blood-red aura flame, and he held a blood-red saber as he hacked at another transparent figure in the air. Saber chi swept out, creating an intense scene. Hong Yan's body gave off a red aura flame as she slashed out with her sword, causing countless sword lights to rain down on the transparent figure. The transparent figure blocked with his saber, blocking the countless sword lights and swinging his hand backwards. A terrifying saber energy slashed towards Hong Yan, causing a deep ravine to appear on the ground. Hong Yan raised her sword and slashed out. A sharp sword light slashed out and collided with the saber energy, resulting in an intense explosion. Sword light shot out in all directions and the energy scattered in all directions. Hei Lan Er held a long sword and turned into a black ray of light as she quickly rushed towards a transparent figure. The transparent figure did not show any fear and slammed towards Hei Lan Er with great power. Bang! An explosion rang out as the two powerful forces collided, causing light to shoot out in all directions. Rocks were sent flying and a large crater appeared on the ground. The two of them were at the center of the pit, their swords intertwined. The people around them also looked at the intense battle in front of them nervously and solemnly. None of them turned their heads to talk. After an hour, the winner was finally decided. In the end, only 6 people managed to defeat the invisible figure. The first was Xue Chongkong, the second was Hong Yan, the third was Zi Yan, the fourth was Hei Lan Er, the fifth was an ordinary-looking youth, and the sixth was a cold-looking youth. Everyone else left, and those who had fainted were carried away. Only Xue Chongkong and the others were left. Now, only the 6 of them had the qualifications to break through the barrier. Xue Chongkong looked at the other 5 people, who were all slightly injured, and he smiled confidently as he said, "I'll give you all a chance. I'll let you go and grab your swords first." According to the rules, Xue Chongkong had killed the most invisible figures, so he was the first person to go up. Hong Yan and Zi Yan looked at each other and did not say anything. The youth smiled as he said, "Don't regret it after I open the treasury." The youth walked up and grabbed the hilt of the sword, pulling it out from the ground. He then looked at the sword in his hand with some excitement. After looking at the sword, the youth looked at the stone door and sent a wave of power into the sword in his hand as he vigorously slashed out. Bang! Before the sword could hit the stone door, a massive wave of energy flowed out from the stone door, sending the youth flying 100 meters away. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and the sword was also sent flying. Everyone was shocked. They had never thought that out of the 6 people they had chosen, the first one would fail just like that. The remaining 5 people's expressions became grave. Even though they had passed the test, these 3 barriers would definitely be very difficult to break. No one said anything, and the scene was quite quiet. The cold-looking youth said, "Let me try." The cold-looking youth picked up the sword and solemnly walked in front of the stone door. He held the sword horizontally, and he was not as careless and rash as before. He continuously sent his power into the sword in his hand. The sword gave off countless rays of sword light, and a shocking sword aura spread out, covering the surroundings. Boom! The cold-looking youth slashed out, and a terrifying ray of sword light containing enough power to destroy everything slashed towards the stone door, causing the ground to instantly crack. At that moment, a massive wave of power surged into the stone door, and it collided with the sword light. Bang! A huge explosion rang out and a shock wave spread out. Rubble flew everywhere, blocking everyone's line of sight. No one knew what had happened, or whether or not the cold-looking youth had broken the stone door's barrier. When the dust settled, the cold-looking youth was half squatting on the ground with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, while the stone door was completely fine. Everyone was dumbfounded. Such a powerful attack hadn't even been able to break the first barrier. Was the barrier's power really that terrifying? The people in the viewing platforms were also a bit flabbergasted. Although they didn't think the cold-looking youth would be able to break the third barrier, they felt that breaking one shouldn't be a problem. But if he couldn't even break the first barrier, then the power of the stone door's barrier surpassed their imaginations. The cold-looking youth stabbed the sword in his hand into the ground and stood up, retreating to the side. He knew that with his power, he wouldn't be able to break the barrier, so he didn't continue trying. Ziyan said, "I also want to try." Ziyan pulled out the sword and solemnly looked at the stone gate. A powerful energy poured into the sword in her hand, and it began to emit countless strands of silver sword chi. Countless strands of sword chi revolved around Ziyan, and a sharp aura that seemed like it could cut through skin spread out. This wasn't the end. Ziyan continued to pour more sword chi into the sword. The sword chi whirlpool grew larger and larger, releasing an even more terrifying sword aura. Sword marks appeared on the ground. Boom! Zhao Fu swung the Ziyan sword, and a massive vortex of sword chi ferociously slashed towards the stone door. The ground was continuously shattered by the sword chi, and countless ear-piercing sounds rang out. Chapter 2644. Volume 1, Zhang Tai. At this moment, a huge wave of energy once more surged out of the stone gate. This time, that energy chose to defend, forming a transparent barrier around the stone gate. Clang, 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 sword chi slashed onto the transparent barrier, causing loud sounds to ring out. Countless sharp sword chi were unable to cut through the barrier, not leaving even the slightest mark. Its defensive power was a bit frightening. In the end, the sword chi vortex dissipated, but it was unable to break through the barrier. Ziyan wanted to try again. "There's no need to try. You won't be able to break that barrier." Ziyan coldly snorted and threw the sword in her hand to He Lan. "Why don't you try and see if you can break it?" He Lan caught the sword with a solemn expression. She looked at the stone gate in front of her. She did not have much confidence in breaking the barrier, but she would try with her full power. He Lan threw the sword into the sky and raised a hand. A wave of black energy surged out of it. The sword in the sky seemed to be held up by some sort of power, and it floated in the sky. He Lan's power continuously flowed out, and the sword gave off countless black sword lights. A massive black snake appeared in the sky, giving off a terrifying aura that could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Boom! He Lan's hand fell, and the huge black serpent let out a hiss. It gave off a powerful aura as it smashed towards the stone gate. It seemed like it could smash apart a mountain. This time, the power that surged out of the stone gate formed an energy barrier. Bang! A huge sound rang out as the black serpent smashed into the energy barrier. A wild gale blew out, but the black serpent was unable to break the barrier. There was not even the slightest crack on the barrier. The black serpent's power gradually disappeared, and in the end, it turned back into the sword that stabbed into the ground. Ziyan laughed mockingly. "And here I was wondering how powerful you were. In the end, aren't you the same as me?" He Lan coldly said, "This barrier isn't something we can break. Of course I can't break it." Everyone looked at Hong Yen and Xue Chongkong. Originally, they had chosen 6 people, but now only the 2 of them were left. They were also the last hope. If the 2 of them could not break through the barrier, then this event would have to be declared a failure. However, even if there was still hope, everyone's expressions did not look good. That was because there were 3 layers to the barrier. Since the first layer, the weakest barrier, had not been broken, how could the other 2 layers be broken? Hong Yen pulled out the sword and retreated more than 10 meters. She looked at the stone door with a serious expression. She loosened her grip on the sword and formed a sword with her fingers. The sword was controlled by an invisible force and floated to the left of Hong Yen. Power continued to flow out from Hong Yan's sword fingers, and the sword also gave off sword light. As power continued to flow out, the sword trembled and the sword light it gave off became even more dazzling. A sharp sword chi filled the surroundings and the temperature dropped rapidly. Everyone could feel that this power was stronger than Heilon Er's, but could it break through the barrier? Everyone became nervous. Hong Yen raised her sword and pointed at the stone door. Clang! A massive sword hum sounded out as the sword brought with it an intense sword light and shot out like a massive beam of light. It was extremely fast. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the sword slammed into the barrier, causing a massive destructive power to ripple out. The ground around the stone door cracked, and the massive force caused the sword to pierce into the barrier. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Finally, someone could break through the barrier. Hong Yan's expression was serious as she pointed her sword at the stone door. Her sword gave off an intense sword light and continued to stab forward with terrifying power. The tip of the sword moved forward bit by bit, but then it stopped and could not go any further. Hong Yen could not hold on any longer and her body loosened as her power dissipated, causing the sword to powerlessly fall to the ground. Seeing this, everyone felt quite disappointed. They had thought that Hong Yen would be able to break through the barrier, but she had still failed in the end. Bai Lang said to Bing softly, "Wife, do you think anyone else can break through the barrier and open the treasure trove?" Bing Qingqing looked quite worried as she said, "I don't know." Bing Qingqing was quite worried that no one would be able to open the treasure trove. If that happened, Zhao Fu would be wasting his time here, and their plan would fail. Originally, it had been Hong Yen and Zi Yen who had broken through the barrier to open the treasure trove and obtain what Zhao Fu needed. However, no one had broken through the first barrier, so who could open the treasure trove? Their only hope was Xue Changkong. As the first person to take the valley, he had some hope of opening the treasure trove. Zi Xiaonong sighed as he said, "It might be difficult. Xue Changkong is quite powerful, but he can at most break through the first barrier. There are still 2 barriers left." Ziyu frowned as she said, "Are the youths this year so weak? If Xue Changkong can't do it, I'll go and try later." Zi Xiaonong looked at Ziyu and asked in confusion, "Wife, why do you still want to go and try?" Ziyu rolled her eyes as she said, "It's none of your business." Zi Xiaonong felt quite displeased as he said, "It's useless even if you go. Only the youths can open the treasure trove. If you don't follow the rules, you'll be in danger." Hong Yen was also worried that the treasure trove could not be opened. Aside from them, the few emptiness realm experts sitting in the middle of the spectator stands also frowned. They were rather disappointed with the younger generation of this year's competition. Up until now, none of them had managed to break a layer of the barrier. If Xue Changkong was also unable to defeat them, then this competition would be a joke. The guests from the other factions wore faint smiles as they looked down. They also understood that this grand and lively event was going to end in failure. They thought it was quite funny. Originally, they had hoped that someone would break through the 3rd barrier and obtain the inheritance of the strongest expert of the valley. Then, they would be chosen as the next master of the valley. However, the youths of the valley were so useless that they could not even break through the first barrier. It was quite embarrassing. It was a pity that the treasure trove could only be opened with the bloodline of the valley's owner. Otherwise, they could have sent their own people to try. If they could open the treasure trove, then it would be even more interesting. Actually, no one would know if they had not tried. It was not that the youths of the valley were too weak. It was just that the barrier was too strong. Ordinary geniuses would not be able to break it. The barrier left behind by the strongest expert of the valley could only be broken by an absolute genius. He would not be interested in the top geniuses. Only the absolute geniuses were qualified to obtain his inheritance. Countless people stared at Xue Changkong. Hong Yen and the others stared back at him. Xue Changkong was not as relaxed as before. He felt a great pressure. However, no matter what, he had to try his best. Chapter 2645. Book 1, Chapter 90. Destruction. Xue Changkong stood in front of the stone door with a sword in his hand and raised the sword in his other hand. Boom! A massive explosion rang out as Xue Changkong poured all of his power into the sword, causing it to give off strands of blood-red sword qi. It gave off a power that seemed to be able to massacre the world, causing countless people to feel terror in their hearts. Everyone held their breaths and felt incredibly nervous because Xue Changkong was the last person who could break through the barrier. Xing! Xue Changkong slashed down, and a blood-red sword light formed a river that contained world-destroying power and ferociously surged forward. Nothing could stop it, and the ground crumbled, creating a massive ravine. Bang! The blood-red river of sword light slammed against the stone door's defensive barrier, resulting in a massive sound. The indestructible defensive barrier was now covered with countless cracks, and the river of sword light continued to slam against the barrier until it shattered. Countless people could not help but cry out. Someone had finally broken through the first barrier. Hong Yen and the others looked shocked. They had never thought that Xue Changkong would be so powerful. The spectators on the viewing platforms let out sighs of relief. Fortunately, only the first barrier had been broken, or else it would have been too embarrassing if they had not broken through a single barrier. Seeing that he had broken through the first barrier, Xue Changkong let out a sigh of relief, and hearing the cheers around him, he gave a trace of a smile. After a while, Xue Changkong recovered his strength and once again raised his sword, continuously sending all of his power into it. The sword once again gave off traces of blood-red sword qi, and the world-destroying power spread out. Countless people stared with wide eyes, excitedly waiting for this scene. Xing! A massive sword hum sounded out as a river of blood-red sword light surged towards the stone door with terrifying power. It gave off an extremely terrifying aura. Boom! A massive wave of power flowed out from the stone doors, turning into a ray of sword qi that contained incredibly sharp power as it shot out incredibly quickly. The ferocious river of sword light was instantly slashed apart by the ray of sword qi, and the blood-red river of sword light was split in half as the sword qi continued towards Xue Changkong. Xue Changkong felt quite startled and blocked with his sword. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Xue Changkong was sent flying, coughing up a large mouthful of blood. The sword in his hand flew out and fell to the ground. Seeing this, the crowd sighed. Xue Changkong was only able to break the first barrier, and the second barrier. It was impossible to break the third barrier. The spectators in the stands were not too surprised, because they had already expected this to happen. The treasure hunt had ended in failure. The old man sitting in the middle of the grandstand said in disappointment, "It seems that we still have to wait for the next generation of the younger generation to break the barrier. This generation has already failed." An old woman said, "It wasn't easy to find the snatching sword. I also thought that the treasure would be opened, but I was happy for nothing." The middle-aged man next to him said unhappily, "I didn't expect the younger generation to be so weak. They only broke the first barrier, and we'll be laughed at by the other factions. Let's end the meeting as soon as possible. I don't want to stay here anymore." Everyone nodded. Now, all the people who were qualified to hold the sword had failed, and no one was qualified anymore. Bing Qingqing and the others were disappointed. It seemed that Zhao Fu had wasted so much time, but he had not been able to open the treasure, let alone obtain what was inside. Everyone present was very disappointed. They had all come for the person who could break the barrier, obtain the number 1 expert's inheritance, and become the next snatching master. They had never thought that this would happen, and they were not interested in staying here anymore. The yellow-haired old man went up and was about to announce the end of the event. "I want to give it a try." A voice suddenly rang out. Everyone followed the voice and looked at a young man wearing a cloak. "Who is this person?" everyone asked curiously. The other people in Duo Gu shook their heads, indicating that they had never seen Zhao Fu before. Xue Chongkong and the others also looked at Zhao Fu. Xue Chongkong did not believe that Zhao Fu could break the barrier, while Hong Yan and Bai Lang smiled in pleasant surprise. Bai Lang reminded, "As Hong Yan's friend, you might not know this, but this barrier can only be opened with the bloodline of Duo Gu." Hong He sneered, "You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." Bing Qingqing, Ziyu, and Hong Yan looked quite surprised. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would suddenly say such a thing. Hearing that Zhao Fu was not the person who had come to Duo Gu, the surrounding people could not help but laugh. A youth with a black mole on his face laughed as he said, "If it wasn't for the bloodline restriction, I would also want to try. After all, I have nothing to lose." Another person also said, "Everyone wants to give it a try." Zhao Fu ignored these people and walked forward. The people around him made way for him, and Zhao Fu came to an empty space in front of him and made a grabbing motion with his hand. Xing! The sword that had fallen to the side gave off a sword hum and flew into Zhao Fu's hand. Sensing Zhao Fu's aura, it became incredibly excited, as if it had met its true master. Even though Zhao Fu was not the person who had come to Duo Gu, it could not be forgotten that Zhao Fu had absorbed Hong Yan and Zi Yan's bloodline, so he could also be counted as the person who had come to Duo Gu. This was why the sword was so excited when it sensed the primal chaos source energy within Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu did not want to do this, but since no one else could break the barrier, he could only do it himself. The scene fell into silence. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in surprise. What was going on? A few people had taken out swords before, but none of them had such a reaction. Zhao Fu sent some of his power into the sword, and it no longer trembled. Zhao Fu walked towards the stone door. The yellow-haired elder went up, wanting to stop Zhao Fu. The elder sitting in the middle had a solemn expression as he said, "Let him try." Everyone looked at Zhao Fu. It was obvious that Zhao Fu was not simple. Xue Chongkong and He Lan'er's expressions also became solemn, and they no longer dared to look down on Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu slowly walked up to the stone door. The stone door seemed to sense great danger, and it gave off countless rays of light that formed a firm energy barrier. Zhao Fu raised the sword in his hand and sent some of his power into it. The sword gave off a faint black light, and he slashed forward quickly. Boom! The sword slashed down on the barrier, causing a huge explosion. The barrier seemed to have been hit by an unimaginable power and instantly shattered. A strong wind blew out in all directions, causing everyone's hair to be blown back and their clothes to flutter. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to break through the first barrier so easily. Even Xue Chongkong had not been able to do it so easily. Just who is this person? His power is too terrifying. Although they did not know who was behind Zhao Fu, they were certain that it was someone who had come to Duo Gu. Otherwise, they would not even be qualified to go up, let alone break through the barrier. Chapter 2646. Book 1, Chapter 91. Battle. The experts on the viewing platforms looked quite serious and could not help but ask, "Who is he?" Bai Lang and Red Core looked at Bing Qingqing. They felt that Bing Qingqing was familiar with Zhao Fu and most likely knew who Zhao Fu was. They now felt that Zhao Fu was not as simple as Hongyan's friend. Bing Qingqing did not know about Zhao Fu's number 1 evil celestial bloodline's power, so she did not know how Zhao Fu could go up. As for Zhao Fu having such terrifying power, they were not too surprised, as they had been defeated by Zhao Fu. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out, interrupting everyone's thoughts. The stone door gave off an even greater power, forming an even stronger defensive barrier. Zhao Fu once again raised his sword and sent a massive wave of power into it, causing it to give off boundless black light and a destructive power to spread out. Everyone in the surroundings felt a massive might and felt a trace of terror. Shing! A massive sword hum sounded out as Zhao Fu's sword gave off a destructive power as it slashed against the defensive barrier. The defensive barrier trembled and many cracks appeared on it before it completely shattered with a bang. The second barrier, which seemed to be unbreakable, was once again easily shattered by Zhao Fu. Everyone could not help but cry out. They felt that this person was incredibly powerful and was an unimaginably powerful existence. Xue Changkong looked quite confused and felt quite discouraged. He had not been able to break through the second barrier, while this person had done it so easily. The expressions of the other factions who had come to watch the show became serious, when had such a terrifying person appeared in Snatching Valley. The experts sitting at the center could not take it anymore and called Bing Qingqing and the others over as they asked, "Just who is he?" Bing Qingqing did not tell them who Zhao Fu was and only told them that Zhao Fu was Hongyan's friend. She also told them that she had obtained the Snatching Valley sword from Zhao Fu. Hearing Bing Qingqing's words, the others' expressions became even more serious. They all felt that Zhao Fu had something to do with Snatching Valley, or else the Snatching Valley sword would not have fallen into his hands. They would not have been so excited as if they had seen their owner. But who was this person? They had never seen such a person before. Could it be? Suddenly, they realized that the person in front of them might be related to the number one expert. Otherwise, there was no way to explain the current situation. He Lana looked at Zhao Fu's back with shock and asked Ziyan, "Who is he?" Ziyan smiled proudly. "I won't tell you." He Lana snorted, "Why tell me? His identity is not simple, right?" Xue Changkong was also looking at Ziyan. He was also very curious about Zhao Fu. Ziyan smiled. "Of course. To be able to be our man, how could he be ordinary?" He Lana said unhappily, "Can't you just reveal some information about him?" Ziyan lightly smiled and said, "All right. Let me tell you one thing. He is someone we cannot afford to offend." He Lana was not too surprised as she stared at Zhao Fu. Xue Changkong was startled. He had almost clashed with Zhao Fu previously. Now that he had personally witnessed Zhao Fu's strength and heard about Zhao Fu's identity, he felt a little afraid. Boom! A massive explosion once again sounded out as an even greater power flowed out, forming an even firmer barrier. It gave off a massive might, and everyone in the surroundings felt a great pressure. Countless people looked at Zhao Fu, hoping that Zhao Fu would be able to break through the third barrier. Zhao Fu looked at the barrier in front of him and slowly raised his sword, sending a massive amount of power into it. Shing! A massive sword hum sounded out as the sword shot out a black sword into the sky, forming a slender black sword pillar. A massive sword wind blew out, and sensing this terrifying power, the heavens and earth started to go through changes. Boom! Zhao Fu raised his sword and slashed downwards. The black sword pillar gave off a power that seemed to be able to split the heavens and earth as it slashed forwards, and nothing could stop it. Bang! A massive explosion once again sounded out as the black pillar of light slashed against the sturdy energy barrier. The barrier gave off a powerful resistance, but it only lasted for a moment before collapsing, and a shock wave blasted the surrounding rocks away. The third barrier had been destroyed by Zhao Fu, and everyone excitedly cried out. They had thought that this event had failed, and that no one would be able to break through the third barrier. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to do it. The person in front of them was simply too powerful, and he was much more powerful than Xue Changkong. The other factions felt incredibly shocked, and they felt that Zhao Fu was a peerless genius. If he became the Valley Lord, they would be in a dangerous situation. They did not know that Zhao Fu was not a peerless genius, but an existence that reigned above all other peerless geniuses. The experts on the viewing platforms all had complicated expressions. They should have been happy that someone had broken through the third barrier, but Zhao Fu's identity was too mysterious and they could not be sure. Hong Yan walked over to Zhao Fu and smiled as she said, "Congratulations, husband." Ziyan also smiled as she said, "Husband, you're so powerful." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded before raising the sword in his hand and smiling at Hong Yan as he said, "You tried your best to protect this sword, but now it seems to have recognized me as its master." Hong Yan said embarrassedly, "That's because I didn't know how powerful husband was. If I had known, I would have given the sword to you immediately." Zhao Fu laughed as he said, "I'm going in now." Hong Yan smiled as she said, "Be careful, husband." Zhao Fu stabbed the surrounding swords into the cracks in the stone door, causing it to shine with boundless light and a massive ripple to spread out. The stone door slowly opened and light shined from within, making it impossible to see what was inside. Zhao Fu walked in and disappeared, and the others could not enter and could only watch from the outside. Looking at Zhao Fu's disappearing figure, Xue Chongkong felt a bit lonely. He understood that he could not compare to Zhao Fu. Everyone was discussing Zhao Fu's identity, wondering if he would obtain the number 1 expert's inheritance and become the next master. Most people supported Zhao Fu because they had seen how powerful Zhao Fu was. The elder sitting in the middle said solemnly, "Now that he's entered the treasury, we have to figure out his identity when he comes out." The middle-aged man nodded. "This person is too mysterious, and I can sense that he's not simple. I hope that he'll be beneficial to us in seizing the valley." Bing Qing watched as Zhao Fu walked in and smiled. Zhao Fu's plan had succeeded, and he had not wasted any time. Moreover, he was not worried about Zhao Fu being in danger. If it came down to it, he could just tell everyone that Zhao Fu was the primal chaos child, and no one would dare to harm such an existence. Chapter 2647. Book 1, Zhao Fu. After passing through the stone doors, Zhao Fu came to a very large stone cave. There were all sorts of gold, silver, and jewels all around him, giving off brilliant lights and making people feel incredibly moved. At the center was a stone stage that was 3 meters tall, and there was a sword groove at the center. Zhao Fu was not interested in those treasures, and he curiously walked to the stage. He had heard that there was a legacy left behind by the number 1 expert in the valley. This stage was most likely the place to obtain the legacy. A higher being's legacy was not important to Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu mainly wanted to obtain the primal chaos fate from the legacy. Zhao Fu could fuse with all sorts of bloodlines in the outer world, but if he wanted to awaken the outer world's supreme emperor star, he would need a massive amount of fate. Zhao Fu stabbed the sword into the sword groove on the stage, and boundless blood-red sword light shined out. The magic formations on the stage were activated, and a shocking aura spread out. A figure appeared in front of Zhao Fu. It was a woman with long, blood-red hair and a well-built figure, and she gave off a powerful battle intent. Zhao Fu looked at the woman in front of him and said, "Are you a sword spirit or the number 1 expert from back then?" Right now, Zhao Fu was not sure who this woman was. She looked like the sword spirit of the seizing sword, but the aura she gave off was similar to that of the number 1 expert from back then. The woman gave off a wave of battle intent as she smiled and said, "If you want to know, defeat me. Show me your power as a child of primal chaos." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "You're not a match for me, don't seek trouble for yourself." The woman gripped the seizing sword with both hands and smiled as she said, "I'll give it a try then." Shing! The woman drew the sword, and a terrifying sword energy spread out. The sword's power fused with the woman's power, and a massive might spread out from the woman's body. Seeing that the woman wanted to fight, Zhao Fu did as she wished and used his primal chaos origin energy. The bronze shard within his body trembled as Zhao Fu slapped towards the woman, and a massive amount of primal chaos origin energy flowed towards the woman like a river. Sensing the massive amount of primal chaos origin energy, the woman smiled and cried out, "All right." Clang! The woman raised her sword and slashed down, sending out a blood-red sword light that contained shocking power to slash apart the aura river and continue towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, which gave off a golden light. The blood-red sword light was blocked by a formless power. The woman smiled and sheathed her sword. Then, she slashed out a few more times with all her might. A few blood-red sword beams slashed towards Zhao Fu ferociously. Zhao Fu's expression was calm. He stretched out his hand and clenched it. The blood-colored sword lights that were slashing towards him were crushed by a huge force. The primal chaos essence power was one of the most powerful powers in the primal chaos world. Now, Zhao Fu could use it to deal with the woman with ease because the primal chaos essence power could suppress other powers. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and slapped out, causing the woman to be slammed towards her by a formless energy. The woman immediately blocked with her sword, and a muffled explosion sounded out as she was forced back a few steps. The woman cried out excitedly, "Is this the power of the primal chaos source? It's so powerful!" Zhao Fu's body seemed to be covered by golden energy, and his body instantly twisted and disappeared. The woman did not sense where Zhao Fu was, and she sent a massive wave of power into her sword. She stabbed it into the ground, and a blood-red shock wave blasted out, causing the ground to instantly crumble. Suddenly, Zhao Fu appeared behind the woman and hugged her. The woman tried to struggle free, but Zhao Fu sent his 6 desires demonic qi into her body. The woman's expression fell as she cried out, "You're the child of primal chaos. How can you use such despicable power?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Do you think I'm that easy to deal with? Do you think you can fight me just because you want to?" The massive 6 desires demonic qi controlled the woman's body, and Zhao Fu let go of her and asked, "Can you tell me your identity now?" The woman breathed out, "Even though you use such a despicable power, you've still defeated me. I'll tell you now, I was the #1 expert who took over the valley back then." Zhao Fu was not too surprised and asked, "What's your name?" The woman replied, "I'm called Blood-Flying Fish." Zhao Fu took out the bronze shard that he had not refined yet and said, "Do you have a bronze shard like this?" Blood-Flying Fish felt quite startled. "Isn't this the bronze shard that I lost back then?" Zhao Fu looked quite confused. He had wanted to ask Blood-Flying Fish if he had a bronze shard like this, but he had never thought that this bronze shard was what Blood-Flying Fish had lost. "What's going on?" Blood-Flying Fish said, "Back then, I fought with a few experts and lost a bronze shard like this. I still have 2 bronze shards like this." Zhao Fu smiled in delight as he said, "Where are the other 2 bronze shards?" Blood-Flying Fish stretched out a hand and made a grabbing motion, causing a wooden box to fly out from the pile of treasures. Blood-Flying Fish grabbed the wooden box and handed it to Zhao Fu. "What are they used for?" "I only sensed that they weren't ordinary items when I obtained them in the past, but I didn't know their information." Zhao Fu opened the wooden box and found that there were indeed 2 bronze shards inside. Zhao Fu used the shards within his body to sense them and found that the 2 bronze shards had a reaction. They were the bronze shards that Zhao Fu had been looking for. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "These 2 are shards of an origin armament." Blood-Flying Fish said in shock, "These are shards of an origin armament? How come I didn't discover them?" Zhao Fu replied, "These shards can only be sensed with origin energy. Also, where did you obtain these shards?" Blood-Flying Fish thought for a moment before saying, "I obtained these 3 bronze shards from different places. Some were in a historical remnant, and some were from others." Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite disappointed. He had thought that he would be able to obtain information about the other shards from Blood-Flying Fish. Zhao Fu put the 3 bronze shards away. Refining them required a large amount of origin energy and heaven and earth power, and he needed a secluded place to refine them. As such, Zhao Fu did not plan to refine them for now. Zhao Fu looked at Blood Flying Fish and said, "Now, give me your legacy." Blood Flying Fish asked curiously, "You're a child of chaos and you're more powerful than me. Why do you want my legacy?" Zhao Fu said, "Since you've become my woman." Blood Flying Fish cut off Zhao Fu's words. "Wait, when did I become your woman? I didn't agree to anything." Zhao Fu did not mind as he said, "You don't have the ability to resist. I need your legacy fate to awaken the Supreme Emperor Star in the outer world." Hearing the first half of Zhao Fu's words, Blood Flying Fish felt quite angry, and hearing the latter half, she asked curiously, "Even though Emperor Stars are rare, as a child of chaos, it should be easy for you to awaken one. Why do you need other legacy fate?" Chapter 2648. Book 1, Chapter 93. Before Zhao Fu could reply, Flying Blood Fish thought of something and asked in shock, "The awakened Emperor Star you're talking about is the outer world's Supreme Emperor Star?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. "I don't care about ordinary Emperor Stars. What I want is the Supreme Emperor Star of the outer world, an Emperor Star that no one can compare to. A unique Emperor Star that reigns above everything else. Only then can it match my status." The Flying Blood Fish thought about it and said, "You're right. You're the Primal Chaos Child, so you naturally need the Primal Chaos World's Supreme Emperor Star." Boom! The Flying Blood Fish extended a hand and a massive legacy power surged out, pouring into Zhao Fu's body. After a while, Zhao Fu easily absorbed the Blood Flying Fish's inheritance. Zhao Fu smiled. "Come with me and leave this place. Right now, I am in a soul state. I do not have a real body. My body was damaged during the battle back then, so I cannot leave this place." Zhao Fu said, "Then how about you fuse with the Qiao Ling sword and become a sword spirit?" Blood Flying Fish refused, saying, "I don't want to be bound by swords and become a sword spirit." Zhao Fu said, "Then I'll help you reconstruct a body." After saying that, Zhao Fu stretched out his hand. 8 runes appeared, and Zhao Fu pressed them into the Flying Blood Fish's body. Blood Flying Fish's expression changed. "You're also the inheritor of the first evil immortal?" Zhao Fu calmly nodded and sent the 8 forbidden blood arts power into the Flying Blood Fish's body. Countless traces of blood appeared in the surrounding void and gathered towards the Flying Blood Fish, forming a human-shaped ball of blood that continuously condensed. In the end, Flying Blood Fish obtained a brand new body. However, this body did not have much power, and Flying Blood Fish's cultivation was only around the world realm. When Flying Blood Fish sensed the changes in his body, he smiled in delight and said, "The 8 forbidden blood art is indeed powerful. Even ordinary higher beings would not be able to create such a powerful body so easily." Zhao Fu had used the Flying Blood Fish's bloodline as a foundation and infused chaotic force into this body. This body was exactly the same as the Flying Blood Fish's original body. There was no rejection or difference, and this body was a chaotic spirit body. A chaos spirit constitution was a constitution that could easily absorb the power of the primordial world. It was a constitution that could allow one to become a genius, and Zhao Fu had easily created it. With a wave of his hand, Zhao Fu collected all the treasures into his storage ring. Originally, Zhao Fu had only planned on taking the bronze shards and not taking anything else. After all, this was someone else's territory. If he were to take everything, he would definitely be unwilling. However, things were different now. With the Flying Blood Fish, the people fighting for the valley would not dare to do anything to him. Moreover, this treasure trove belonged to the Flying Blood Fish in the first place. Zhao Fu said, "Let's go." The Flying Blood Fish held the Snatching Collar Sword and smiled as he followed behind Zhao Fu. The Snatching Collar Sword was returned to its owner, and Zhao Fu did not take it. Zhao Fu did not plan on looking for life weapons either, as he found that whether it was the first evil immortal's power or the primordial shard's power, they were not suitable for using weapons. Everyone looked at the stone door, waiting for Zhao Fu to come out. When Zhao Fu walked out with the flying bloodfish, everyone felt quite surprised. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would bring out a blood-red-haired woman. Everyone else felt quite confused, but the experts sitting at the center of the viewing platforms looked quite confused as they hurriedly flew over to the flying bloodfish and paid their respects as they called out, "Blood Sovereign." Hearing their voices, everyone looked quite shocked and understood that this woman was the #1 expert from back then. Hadn't this woman gone missing? Why had she appeared here? The Dogu people on the viewing platforms came to their senses and flew down and paid their respects to the flying bloodfish. The countless ordinary Dogu people also paid their respects to the #1 expert from back then and called out respectfully, "Blood Sovereign." The people from the other factions looked quite serious. Not only did Dogu have such a terrifying legatee, but the #1 expert from back then had also appeared. In the future, Dogu would become even more powerful. Facing everyone's bows, the flying bloodfish calmly smiled and said, "No need to be so polite." The elder smiled as he said, "Congratulations on your revival, Blood Sovereign. We'll immediately notify the other sovereigns." The flying bloodfish thought about it and nodded. Zhao Fu said, "I'll be leaving now." The elder immediately said, "Wait, you can't leave yet. Please tell us who you are." Everyone looked at Zhao Fu curiously. What they were most curious about was Zhao Fu's identity. The flying bloodfish said, "You don't need to worry about him, and don't know who he is. Dogu cannot afford to offend him." Hearing the #1 expert from back then say such a thing, everyone felt incredibly shocked. Just what was Zhao Fu's identity? Zhao Fu gave a faint smile and walked away under everyone's respectful gazes. Hong Yan and Zi Yan happily followed behind Zhao Fu. He Lan Er said, "You're qualified to be my man. I can be your woman." Zi Yan said with a mocking smile, "What did you say before?" He Lan Er said, "Things are different now. Now that he has obtained the legacy, he can become the next Dogu master. My man must have this kind of potential. Also, are you afraid that you can't compete with me? It's evident that I'm more outstanding than you." Ziyan said unhappily, "Who can't compete with you? What a joke." He Lan Er went up and said, "Then let's see who he likes more." Zhao Fu looked at her and lightly laughed, and they left together. Following this, news quickly spread that not only had a powerful legatee appeared in Dogu, but the #1 expert from back then had also revived. Everyone was shocked, and some people immediately prepared gifts to congratulate Dogu. In the future, Dogu would definitely become even more powerful. After a long time, Flying Bloodfish came to Zhao Fu's room, and seeing this scene, her face became red. Zhao Fu said, "Why did they find you?" Flying Bloodfish rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu and said, "They said that they would help me quickly recover my cultivation and let me become the new Dogu master. They also asked about your identity." Zhao Fu bullied He Lan Er and asked, "What did you say?" Flying Bloodfish replied, "What could I do? I couldn't resist and could only leave with you, so I refused and didn't tell them your identity. However, I wasn't interested in leading Dogu in the first place." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Leaving with me will definitely be better than staying in Dogu. I won't mistreat you." Flying Bloodfish helplessly nodded. Zhao Fu then asked, "Oh, that's right. Do you know where I can obtain more bronze shards? Or, do you know who has such bronze shards? I've already obtained 4, so I'm only a dozen or so away from repairing that origin artifact." Chapter 2649. Book 1. Zhao Fu. Flying Bloodfish thought for a moment before saying, "I'm not sure who has it, but someone might." Zhao Fu asked in delight, "Who is that?" Flying Bloodfish said, "That person's name is Long Quan In, and he once explored a historical remnant with me. I obtained a bronze shard there, and he might have obtained one as well. However, so much time has passed, and I'm not sure where he is." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "Then we can only go and ask around about him." Flying Bloodfish asked, "When are you leaving?" "I'm tired of staying in Duo Valley, and want to go out and get some fresh air." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Come over here." Flying Bloodfish glared at Zhao Fu and said, "I'm not going over." In the end, Flying Bloodfish was dragged over by Zhao Fu, and an hour later, they left Duo Valley. Zhao Fu's main goal in Duo Valley was to see if there were any bronze shards. He had never thought that he would obtain 2 bronze shards and obtain information about the next one. Zhao Fu felt that collecting all of the bronze shards would not be too difficult. Zhao Fu's current plan was to find an alliance city to ask around for information about Longquan Inn while buying a large amount of insect beast king blood. Zhao Fu had just arrived in this region, so there were most likely many bloodlines that he had not fused with yet. A few days later, Zhao Fu and the others arrived at a level 7 alliance city. During those days, Zhao Fu refined the 3 bronze shards that he had obtained. With his first experience and the help of the first shard, Zhao Fu was able to easily refine the 3 bronze shards without causing as much of a commotion as before. The 4 shards were located in different locations, and they were scattered throughout Zhao Fu's body. The chaos source energy within Zhao Fu's body had become much more powerful. Zhao Fu spent hundreds of millions of gold coins in the Alliance City to buy thousands of bloodlines. If he wanted to raise his first stage bloodline to the 3rd stage, he would need tens of thousands of bloodlines. Zhao Fu had already heard about the Dragon Spring Inn. It was said that the Dragon Spring Inn's owner had disappeared, but he had left behind a legatee. Now, it was up to his legatee to see if he had this bronze shard. That successor's name was Long Baihe. He was now a member of an Emperor-level force. His status was not low, and his cultivation had reached the Emptiness realm. It took them a few more days to reach the Emperor-class faction. The process was unexpectedly smooth. Zhao Fu was able to easily see that Long Baihe. This Long Baihe had already transformed into a fair-skinned middle-aged man. Long Baihe smiled and bowed to Xuefeiyu. "I didn't expect Senior to still be alive. Master often mentions you." The reason Zhao Fu had been able to meet Long Baihe so easily was because he had used Flying Bloodfish's identity. Back then, Flying Bloodfish had had a good relationship with the Dragon Spring Inn, or else they would not have gone to explore the historical remnant together. Flying Bloodfish nodded. "Where is your master now?" Long Baihe replied with a smile. "Master has already left for the Boundless Void." The Boundless Void was a place outside of the primal chaos world. When Zhao Fu was searching for the half-immortal world, he had gone there before. It was extremely dangerous and everything was unknown. He could encounter all sorts of things, and he could even meet the legendary immortals. Since the Dragon Spring Inn had left for the Boundless Void, Zhao Fu would definitely not be able to contact him. Flying Bloodfish asked curiously, "What is your master's cultivation now?" Back then, the Dragon Spring Inn and Flying Bloodfish's cultivation had been similar. Now that so much time had passed, the Dragon Spring Inn's cultivation should be very high. The Dragon Spring Inn itself should be very powerful. Long Baihe smiled and said, "When Master left the primal chaos world, he was already at the peak of the Almighty Realm. Now that so many years have passed, he should have the half-immortal mirror world." Flying Bloodfish felt slightly envious. "If I had not fought with those people back then, my cultivation would have been the same as your master's. Now that my cultivation has fallen to the world realm, I don't even know when I will recover to the Almighty Realm." Long Baihe smiled and said, "With Senior's extraordinary talent, you should be able to recover to the Almighty Realm very quickly." Zhao Fu looked at Flying Bloodfish and asked, "Did your master leave you a bronze shard?" Now Zhao Fu was quite worried. Even though he did not know if the Dragon Spring Inn had a bronze shard, even if it did, it had already left for the boundless void. It would be impossible for Zhao Fu to find it. Long Baihe thought about it and said, "What does the bronze shard look like?" Zhao Fu said, "It's a shard of a bronze mirror. It's very ancient and rough, and it doesn't give off any aura. However, it's indestructible." Long Baihe replied, "Master did not leave me a bronze shard like that." Zhao Fu's heart sank and he continued to ask, "Did your master have a bronze shard like that?" Long Baihe thought about it and said, "I don't think master has a bronze shard like that." At this moment, Zhao Fu did not know whether to be happy or disappointed. He was happy that the dragon's spring in had not taken the bronze shard to the boundless void, but he was disappointed that it would be a waste of time. Long Baihe asked curiously, "Why are you looking for this bronze shard?" Zhao Fu did not tell Long Baihe and only said, "It's something very important to me." Long Baihe said, "I've heard of someone who has this item before. However, it'll be very difficult for you to obtain it." Zhao Fu smiled in pleasant surprise and hurriedly said, "Who is that person?" Long Baihe said, "That person is Blade Venerable, who I'm currently part of. His cultivation is at the Almighty Realm, and he's arrogant and overbearing. It'll be very difficult to obtain this bronze shard from him." It was impossible for Zhao Fu to deal with the Almighty Realm cultivator. Without other methods, it would indeed be very difficult to obtain the bronze shard from him. If Zhao Fu directly asked Blade Venerable for it, he might be killed without any resistance. However, Zhao Fu had to obtain the bronze shard. It was a primal chaos origin artifact, and if he could obtain a complete origin artifact, it would be possible for him to obtain true primal chaos origin energy. It would be best if he could invite a Almighty Realm cultivator to talk to Blade Venerable and exchange for the bronze shard. However, where would Zhao Fu find a Almighty Realm cultivator to help him? Zhao Fu said gratefully to Long Baihe, "Many thanks." Long Baihe smiled and said, "You're welcome. Since you're senior's friends, you're also my friends." Flying Bloodfish looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "What do you plan to do now?" Zhao Fu said what he was thinking, "I want to find a Almighty Realm cultivator to exchange for the bronze shard." Flying Bloodfish frowned and said, "I might not be able to help you with this. Although I knew many Almighty Realm cultivators in the past, I don't know where they are or how they are now. Otherwise, it wouldn't be too much of a problem to ask them for help." Long Baihe thought for a moment and said, "I can introduce you to a Almighty Realm cultivator, but whether she can help you or not depends on you. I don't have the ability to ask her to help you." Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Many thanks, I'll have to trouble you." Chapter 2650. Book 1, Chapter 95. Not only did Long Baihe tell Zhao Fu so much information, but he was also willing to introduce a higher being to Zhao Fu. Following this, the group followed Long Baihe to a courtyard. The higher being that Long Baihe introduced was a sovereign from this emperor-level faction. She was called Yuzhen Koori and was respectfully called Sovereign Rain. After walking to the courtyard, two female attendants wearing blue dresses stopped Zhao Fu and the others and asked, "What do you want?" Long Baihe said, "Please tell Sovereign Rain that I'm looking for her." The female attendants had Zhao Fu and the others wait before entering the courtyard. A while later, they came out and had Zhao Fu and the others enter. After coming to the guest hall, Zhao Fu and the others saw a beautiful and gentle woman wearing a blue palace dress. She was Yuzhen Koori. Seeing Zhao Fu and the others come in, Yuzhen Koori softly asked Long Baihe, "What is it?" Even though Long Baihe's cultivation was at the Void Realm, he had a master who might be a half-step celestial, so Yuzhen Koori was quite courteous to him. Long Baihe bowed and said, "Sovereign Rain, I'm here to introduce a few people to you. This person has something to ask of you." Yuzhen Koori looked quite confused and looked at Zhao Fu, not knowing why this little Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator was looking for her. Zhao Fu also bowed and said, "I want to ask Senior to help us exchange something from Blade Venerable." Yuzen Kaori could not help but lightly laugh. This was the first time someone had asked her for help. Moreover, what could an Emperor Heaven Realm cultivator exchange for with a higher being? Yuzen Kaori was quite curious about this. Even though she did not like Blade Venerable, she did not refuse and asked, "What do you want to exchange for?" Zhao Fu replied, "A bronze shard that is useless to him." Yuzen Kaori looked at Zhao Fu and said, "What is that bronze shard? It shouldn't be an ordinary item. Also, how do you know that it is useless to others?" Zhao Fu was not surprised by Yuzen Kaori's question and replied, "This is my family's weapon, no one else can use it." Yuzen Kaori asked again, "What's your family name?" Zhao Fu said, "I can't tell Revered Rain about this." This was a lie that Zhao Fu had told. Even if Zhao Fu said that his family would not be able to say it. Yuzen Kaori smiled and said, "You're still hiding this from me, so why should I help you?" Zhao Fu said, "If Revered Rain can help me, I will definitely have a generous gift to express my gratitude." Yumi Kaori smiled and said, "Then what will you use to exchange with him? He won't trade for ordinary things." Hearing this, Zhao Fu waved his hand and took out 3 items. One was an ore called Bright Lanthanum ore, which was quite valuable and was quite attractive to higher beings. One was an animal hide that gave off a terrifying aura. The last item was a medicinal pill that gave off a dense medicinal fragrance. This medicinal pill could increase a higher being's cultivation. None of these items belonged to Zhao Fu. They were items from the Flying Blood Fish treasury. Why did Zhao Fu feel that he had become a pretty boy? Before, he had taken skeletal eyebrows items to buy things, and now, he was using the Flying Blood Fish's treasures to exchange for things. Yuzen Kaori looked quite confused. She understood the value of these items. To be able to take out these items, it seemed that Zhao Fu's family was quite powerful. Yuzen Kaori asked curiously, "Why don't you ask your family's higher being to exchange with him?" Zhao Fu replied, "I want to use my own abilities to collect the shards of my family's weapon." Yuzen Kaori thought about it and said, "I can help you once, but I can't guarantee that he'll be willing to exchange with you." Zhao Fu bowed and said, "Thank you, Revered Rain, for your help." Following this, everyone left the courtyard and came to a large hall. There was a fierce-looking big man sitting at the head of the hall. He was Blade Venerable, and he gave off a very powerful aura. It was obvious that he was not someone to be trifled with. Blade Venerable smiled and said, "What's the matter?" Yuzen Kaori said, "I've brought someone to exchange with you." Blade Venerable laughed and said, "You want to exchange with me? Did I hear that right?" Yuzen Kaori frowned and pointed at Zhao Fu. "That's right, he's the one who wants to exchange with you." Blade Venerable looked at Zhao Fu with disdain and said, "What do you want from me, boy?" Zhao Fu bowed and said, "I wonder if Blade Venerable has a special bronze shard?" Blade Venerable thought about it and took out a bronze shard that was a few inches wide. He said, "Are you talking about this one?" Zhao Fu carefully sensed it and found the aura of the origin on it. It should be the bronze shard that Zhao Fu was looking for. He nodded with a smile and said, "This is what I'm looking for." Blade Venerable smiled contemptuously and said, "I'm not exchanging. It took me a lot of effort to get this thing and I can't see what it is. How can I exchange it with you?" Zhao Fu said, "This is my family's weapon. It's useless for you to keep it, so I'm willing to exchange it with you." Zhao Fu then took out the 3 items from before. Blade Venerable looked at the 3 items and said, "I'm not exchanging. Also, which family are you from?" Blade Venerable was very difficult to deal with, so it should be worth it to exchange 1 useless item for 3 useful items. However, Blade Venerable refused to exchange it. Zhao Fu said, "My family can't tell you. Are you not satisfied with these items? What do you need to exchange it with me?" Blade Venerable looked at Zhao Fu fiercely and said, "If you don't tell me who your family is, I can't guarantee that you can leave safely." Yuzen Kaori said, "I brought them here, so I won't let you do anything to them." Zhao Fu and the others' expressions changed. Fortunately, they didn't come looking for Blade Venerable alone. If it wasn't for Yuzin Kaori, she might have killed Zhao Fu directly. Blade Venerable laughed and said, "Reign Venerable, are the two of us going to compete again?" Yuzin Kaori said seriously, "I'm not interested in competing with you. Since you don't want to exchange, I'll take them away." Blade Venerable was slightly stronger than Yuzin Kaori, and Yuzin Kaori didn't really want to fight Blade Venerable. It was best for her to take Zhao Fu and the others away. Blade Venerable said with a smile, "You can leave, but he has to tell me who he is. Also, what is this bronze shard?" Yuzin Kaori said coldly, "Don't go too far." Blade Venerable said with a smile, "I'm not going too far. I don't think you know who he is or about this bronze shard, right?" Hearing this, Yuzin Kaori was startled. She indeed didn't know who Zhao Fu was, but she didn't know anything about the bronze shard. She only knew that it was the family weapon that Zhao Fu had mentioned. Blade Venerable looked at Yuzin Kaori's expression and said, "Let me tell you, I can't destroy this bronze shard even with my full strength. Do you know how tough this thing is? If I can't destroy it with my powerful strength, I suspect that this bronze shard is a shard of a holy weapon. This kid wants to exchange these things for something that might be a holy weapon shard? Do you think I'll give it to him?" Yuzin Kaori looked at Zhao Fu with a serious expression. Now, Zhao Fu was in a dangerous situation. Chapter 2651. Book 1, Chapter 96. Zhao Fu knew that his life would be in danger if he didn't handle this well. Zhao Fu chuckled. He didn't have his previous humble and gentle look. Instead, he was full of disdain and dominance. "I wanted to use a gentle way to obtain the fragment, but you threatened me. Hand over the bronze fragment now. Otherwise, I'll make sure that not even a blade of grass grows in your faction." Venerable the Blade and Yuzin Kaori looked at Zhao Fu, who seemed to have changed into a different person. They were startled. Venerable the Blade smiled fiercely. "Brat, how dare you act so arrogantly in front of me? Are you really not afraid of death?" Zhao Fu looked at Venerable the Blade in disdain. "You think you can do that? You're not qualified." Venerable the Blade couldn't stand it anymore. A murderous intent emerged in his heart. A terrifying aura erupted and he was about to attack Zhao Fu. Yuzin Kaori didn't have any intention of stopping him. Long Baihe hurriedly said, "Venerable the Blade, please give me some face. He's a friend that I brought here." Venerable the Blade was also afraid of Long Baihe's identity. He snorted coldly. "This brat is courting death. He even dared to say such words in front of me. He will die here even if he reveals his identity." Long Baihe wanted to say something. Boom! Suddenly, a loud explosion was heard. A chaotic and desolate power erupted and enveloped the hall like a heavenly might. The surroundings seemed to be sealed by this power. Venerable the Blade and Yuzin Kaori were stunned. Their bloodline power and souls felt a sense of fear. This is the origin power of chaos." Zhao Fu said faintly, "Don't you want to know my identity? Let me tell you now. I'm the son of chaos of the origin race." Venerable the Blade was shocked. In front of him was the son of chaos who had shaken the entire chaotic world. Everyone in the world was looking for him. They didn't expect him to appear in front of them. They didn't even believe it. However, the power he was emitting was the origin power. Yuzin Kaori knew that Zhao Fu wasn't simple, but she didn't expect Zhao Fu to be the son of chaos. She was extremely shocked. Long Baihe looked at Zhao Fu in astonishment. He did not expect that the person who had been courteous to him earlier would have such a terrifying identity. Venerable the Blade's aura weakened in the face of Zhao Fu's origin energy. Although he had the ability to kill Zhao Fu, he was afraid of the origin race behind Zhao Fu. Moreover, he might not be able to kill Zhao Fu because Zhao Fu was the son of chaos. He must have a way to protect himself. He might even be able to ask an immortal to help him. Venerable the Saber fully believed that Zhao Fu had the ability to destroy this emperor-level force. Even if he did not use his family's power, and only said that he wanted to destroy them, experts from all sides would not mind destroying them in order to please Zhao Fu. Boom! 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 This power alerted the other three higher being existences, and they hurriedly flew over. They were a bearded middle-aged man, an elder with short azure hair, and a young woman in a purple dress. They looked at Zhao Fu, who was emitting origin energy. They were extremely shocked and understood Zhao Fu's identity. The elder was the most powerful person in this force. He said politely, "Son of Chaos, what happened?" Zhao Fu was still very nervous. He was not the real son of Chaos and did not have any immortals or half-immortals to protect him. If these people really wanted to kill him, he could only use the first evil immortal's ability to escape. However, he could not lose in terms of momentum. Zhao Fu said coldly, "Ask him. He just said that he wanted me dead." The three people's expressions changed. Was Venerable the Saber crazy to want the son of Chaos dead? Even if he wanted to die, he did not want to drag the entire force down with him. The elder yelled, "Dao Qiong, you dare to kill the son of Chaos?" Venerable the ferocious and overbearing Saber was also very afraid of Zhao Fu's terrifying identity. He said, "I did not know that he was the son of Chaos." The elder smiled as he said to Zhao Fu, "This is a misunderstanding. Please don't take it to heart, son of Chaos. Dao Qiong, hurry up and apologize to the son of Chaos." Dao Qiong felt quite hesitant. After all, he was a higher being, and apologizing to Zhao Fu would be a loss of face. However, thinking about Zhao Fu's terrifying identity, Dao Qiong said, "Chaos child, I'm sorry, I was too rash and offended you." Zhao Fu inwardly let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that they were quite wary of the son of Chaos. In actuality, even higher beings did not dare to offend the holy sons of Holy Spirit factions and had to speak politely. Holy Spirit factions had immortals, and the origin race was even more terrifying. Yuzun Kaori also said, "I'm sorry. I offended you in the past." Now that Yuzun Kaori did not dare to offend Zhao Fu, she did not want to die like this. It had not been easy for her to become a higher being. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and said, "Give me the shard." Dao Qiong did not hesitate and handed the bronze shard to Zhao Fu. He had thought that this shard might be a saint artifact shard, but it seemed that it was not as simple as that. It was indeed useless to him. Zhao Fu received the shard and warned, "I'll let it go this time. I don't want to go on a killing spree." Dao Qiong squeezed out a smile and said, "Son of Chaos, you're very magnanimous." Zhao Fu lightly harumphed and did not reply. The elder smiled as he said, "Son of Chaos, since you've come to our faction as an esteemed guest, we'll immediately prepare good food and wine to welcome you." Zhao Fu did not dare to stay here for long. "There's no need, the family has a mission for me." After saying this, Zhao Fu and his people openly walked out. Seeing Zhao Fu and his people leave, the elder inwardly let out a sigh of relief. Sending away this great god was a good thing. They could not afford to offend him at all. Their faction was as weak as a mouse to such an existence, and could be easily trampled to death. After everyone left the faction, Blood-Flying Fish could not help but say, "Your identity is quite useful. You can obtain anything you want in the primal chaos world. Why do you still need to work so hard to collect these bronze shards?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It would be great if I really was the primal chaos world's son of chaos. A single word from me would be enough for countless experts to collect shards for me. I don't want to work so hard and go through so much trouble." Blood-Flying Fish looked quite confused as she said, "You're not the real son of chaos? How can you have such pure primal chaos source energy?" Painted skeletal eyebrows said softly, "He's indeed not the son of chaos, but he's the son of heaven enlightenment." Blood-Flying Fish looked quite confused and could not understand what Zhao Fu was saying. She had been in the treasury for too long and did not know anything else. Only after the others explained did blood-flying fish find out Zhao Fu's identity, and she was so shocked that she could not say anything. Zhao Fu and his group quickly left this place, and did not stay for too long. If their identities were exposed, many experts would definitely hurry over. Chapter 2652. Book 1, Chapter 97. Everything was just as Zhao Fu had expected. The news of the Son of Chaos' appearance spread like wildfire, and countless experts swarmed over. Dao Qiong and the others looked at the sea of experts that had gathered in their faction, and their hearts were filled with lingering fear. Fortunately, they hadn't attacked Zhao Fu. Otherwise, just these experts alone would have been enough to destroy their faction dozens of times over. Countless experts asked Zhao Fu about all sorts of things, and Dao Qiong and the others told them everything. Hearing that Zhao Fu was collecting bronze shards and that he had many women with him, the crowd could guess some things. That bronze shard was most likely an origin weapon that required origin power to be used. If they had such a bronze shard, the Son of Chaos would come to them on his own. Everyone began to rummage through their storage rings to see if they could find such an item. Also, that Son of Chaos had a lot of women around him, so he should also be a playboy. Using stunning beauties would also be a good way to attract him. Both of these methods could be used to find the Son of Chaos, which was a pleasant surprise. Besides, these two methods were definitely better than searching aimlessly. However, those bronze shards were very difficult to obtain. Some people also had some bronze shards, but it was unknown if they were the kind that Zhao Fu wanted. The first method was more difficult, but the second method was much easier. Soon, news spread that countless places had prepared countless beauties to entertain the Son of Chaos. Even the famous beauties of the Chaos world wanted to meet the Son of Chaos. Countless people were envious. At this time, Zhao Fu, who was already in another region, couldn't help but smile when he heard this news. This was indeed very tempting. Blood-flying fish pinched Zhao Fu hard. "Why do you need so many women?" Zhao Fu said with a chuckle, "I won't really go. Right now, it's more important." The matter of the bronze shards had already been leaked. Countless people already knew that Zhao Fu was collecting bronze shards, which made it difficult for Zhao Fu to collect them. Right now, there were thousands of places that claimed to have bronze shards, but there were only a dozen bronze shards in total. How could there be thousands of them? Perhaps some of them were real, but most of them were fake. Zhao Fu decided not to collect the bronze shards for now, and he decided to focus on collecting bloodlines. He had only fused 10,000 or so types of bloodlines, and there were millions or tens of millions of types of bloodlines in the Chaos world. If he wanted the number one evil celestial bloodline to its limits, he would need an ocean of blood. Comparatively, collecting bloodlines was much more important. Zhao Fu wanted to recruit a group of subordinates. Zhao Fu did not lack money at all, but if he went to one place to buy bloodlines, it would be much faster. If he had subordinates go to many places to buy bloodlines, he would be much faster. Zhao Fu wanted to recruit subordinate. Zhao Fu wanted evil. Zhao Fu looked down on those with ordinary cultivation. One had to be at least at the Emperor Heaven Realm to be able to go anywhere safely. Otherwise, bringing large sums of money to buy all sorts of bloodstones would be quite dangerous. Zhao Fu could not think of any good ideas, and if he directly recruited people without revealing his identity, no one would be willing to follow him. As such, he had to put this matter aside for now. In actuality, Zhao Fu did not have many people. Lan Qingyuan, Lan Banyuan, Aracena, Feng Xunsha, Hua Gume, Shui Mu, Ziyan, Hong Yan, Hong Qian, Ziyu, Bing Qingqing, Shuefeiyu, and He Lan Er. However, only 5 of them had reached the Emperor Heaven Realm. If Zhao Fu wanted to raise the number 1 evil celestial bloodline to the 3rd stage, he would need tens of thousands of types of bloodlines. Zhao Fu told them his thoughts and split them into 5 teams. Each team would have an Emperor Heaven Realm expert leading them, and they would go to various places to buy blood and meet up here in a few days. Hearing that Zhao Fu was going to split up with them, the women felt quite reluctant. Bing Qingqing said unhappily, "We haven't even been with you for a few days, and you're going to split up again?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It's not like we'll be apart for a long time, at most 5 or 6 days. Whoever collects King Bloodline water first can come back first. After raising the number 1 evil celestial bloodline to the 3rd stage, I'll reward you well." Shui Feiyu lightly harumphed. "I thought there would be benefits from submitting to you, but it turns out I'm just a runner." Zhao Fu gave a playful smile as he said, "What do you mean there aren't any benefits? Don't you feel that your constitution is becoming stronger and stronger?" Shui Feiyu's face became red as she said, "I don't want to talk to you anymore." Following this, everyone left this place and flew in different directions. The other 5 teams went to different places, while Zhao Fu went to a region by himself. After traveling for 2 or so days, Zhao Fu came to a level 7 alliance city. Right now, only level 7 alliance cities could satisfy Zhao Fu's needs. Level 6 and 5 alliance cities could not satisfy him at all. After entering this alliance city, the first thing Zhao Fu did was to find a financial group. Only financial group had so many types of blood. Ordinary shops would at most have a few hundred types. Zhao Fu first found a financial group and found that the largest financial group in this alliance city was the Yao Ming Financial Group. This made Zhao Fu feel somewhat hesitant because he had been in contact with the Yao Ming Financial Group before. If he bought a large amount of blood from them, his identity would definitely be exposed. However, if he did not buy from them, it would be very difficult to obtain so much blood, making Zhao Fu feel quite troubled. In the end, Zhao Fu did not go to the Yao Ming Financial Group, as he did not want his identity to be exposed and cause a series of problems. Zhao Fu found a small financial group, and the person who received him was a young man with a scholarly aura. Zhao Fu did not waste any words and directly said, "I need a large amount of essence blood. I need both insect beast blood and chaos race blood." The young man felt quite awkward as he said, "Apologies, sir. Sir, these things have already been monopolized by the Yao Ming Financial Group, and we only have a few types of ordinary essence blood." Zhao Fu frowned. "This Yao Ming Financial Group knows that I need a large amount of essence blood, so they used this method to see me. If I went to the Yao Ming Financial Group, I would be able to obtain a large amount of essence blood, and I wouldn't even need to spend any money." However, in the end, Zhao Fu still did not go to the Yao Ming Financial Group, as he would have to pay a price to go there. Zhao Fu did not want to take the risk, so he went to another alliance city. There were so many alliance cities, and it was impossible for the Yao Ming Financial Group to monopolize them all. In the end, Zhao Fu spent another 3 days, and now he had spent a total of 5 days. Some of the faster people from the other teams should have finished their missions and were already waiting for him at the agreed place. After coming to the new alliance city, even though there was the Yao Ming Financial Group here, they did not monopolize all of the essence blood. There was also a financial group in the alliance city that was not any weaker than the Yao Ming Financial Group, and it was called the 12 Moons Financial Group. It was said that the 12 Moons Financial Group was managed by 12 experts with special moon blood. This special moon blood was extremely ancient and had been passed down from ancient times. It was also said that this moon blood was related to the 12 moons in the sky. This was the Chaos World, where there were 8 suns in the day and 12 moons at night. Chapter 2653. Book 1. Zhao Fu was stunned. The person who received Zhao Fu was a woman wearing a silver dress and giving off a holy aura. She smiled as she said, "What do you need, sir?" Zhao Fu replied, "I need a large amount of essence blood, both from the insect beasts and the primal chaos race." The woman felt quite startled. She had heard about the Yao Ming Financial Group's news that they had to pay attention to everyone who bought large amounts of essence blood. In fact, the Yao Ming Financial Group was even willing to monopolize some cities' essence blood, which made the people from the 12 Moons feel quite surprised. They could not understand why the Yao Ming Financial Group was doing this. Now that she was facing someone who wanted to buy large amounts of essence blood, she was quite concerned about Zhao Fu's identity. She smiled as she said, "Sir, how much do you need?" Zhao Fu replied, "As much as you have." The woman felt quite surprised and probingly asked, "Sir, what do you need so much essence blood for?" Zhao Fu frowned as he asked, "What is it?" Seeing that Zhao Fu was a bit displeased, the woman hurriedly smiled apologetically as she said, "Apologies, I was just a bit curious. We have 5,000 or so types of insect beast blood, 200 types of primal chaos race blood, and 34 types of royal grade blood. In total, we need 570 million gold coins." Zhao Fu did not want to stay here any longer, so he threw a spatial ring to the woman and said, "I'll take them all." The woman took the spatial ring and looked at it before smiling as she said, "Sir, please wait a moment. I'll immediately prepare them for you." Zhao Fu nodded and sat on a chair to the side as he waited. After the woman left the room, she ordered people to collect essence blood as she sent out information about Zhao Fu. She was quite curious about Zhao Fu's identity. 10 or so minutes passed. The essence blood had been collected, but the woman did not receive any information about Zhao Fu's identity. This made the woman even more curious about Zhao Fu. Logically speaking, with their abilities they should be able to find out some information about Zhao Fu. After thinking about it, the woman faintly felt that the Yao Ming Financial Group's matter was related to this person, but she could not be sure. She took the collected essence blood back to the room and handed the spatial ring to Zhao Fu as she said, "Sir, this is what you need." Zhao Fu took the ring and looked at it. He nodded and put it away before preparing to leave. The woman suddenly called out to Zhao Fu, "My name is You Dancing Cicada, the person in charge of the 12 Moons Financial Group. I would like to meet you." Zhao Fu felt quite startled. He had never thought that Moon Dancing Cicada would suddenly say such a thing. He was just passing by and would be leaving after buying some things. He did not want to have anything to do with Moon Dancing Cicada, and he felt that Moon Dancing Cicada had a purpose. Moon Dancing Cicada could tell what Zhao Fu was thinking and smiled as she said, "Sir, you most likely need a lot of essence blood. I can help you obtain more. I'm just curious about you." You Dancing Cicada smiled as she said, "I don't have an ulterior motive, I'm just curious about you." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "We can be friends. I also need a large amount of different types of essence blood. If you can help me obtain them, I'll definitely reward you handsomely." Hearing this, You Dancing Cicada lightly smiled and said, "What is your name? You must have a very prestigious identity, right?" Zhao Fu said, "I'm called Emoyi, but I can't tell you who I am." You Dancing Cicada understood that Zhao Fu's identity was definitely very prestigious, and she would not suffer a loss if she became friends with such a prestigious person. As such, she smiled and said, "That's fine." Zhao Fu suddenly thought of the 12 Moons legends and could not help but ask, "What grade of bloodline is your 12 Moons moon blood?" You Dancing Cicada lightly smiled as she said, "It's a peak Emperor class bloodline. If 12 types of bloodlines are fused together, it might become a divine bloodline." Divine bloodline? Hearing this, Zhao Fu's expression became serious. Divine bloodlines were normally only found in the half-immortal world. It was almost impossible to find divine bloodlines in this great world. Zhao Fu asked curiously, "Can you tell me more about your moon's blood?" You Dancing Cicada smiled as she said, "Yes, our 12 Moons Financial Group's inheritance comes from the ancient 12 Moons Immortals. The 12 Moon Lords that manage the financial group all have different bloodlines of the 12 Moons Immortals. This bloodline contains moon source energy and is extremely powerful. It's one of the top-tier powers in the primal chaos world. Women with this bloodline can ascend to the moon if their moon source energy reaches the limit. Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt incredibly shocked. One could ascend to the moon? Zhao Fu had never thought of this before, nor had he heard of anyone doing this before. He could not help but ask, is this true? When one's moon source energy reaches the limit, one can ascend to the moon. You Dancing Cicada smiled as she said, this is definitely true. Is it very strange to ascend to the moon? According to the records of our 12 Moons Financial Group, 34 people have ascended to the moon. Zhao Fu continued to ask, do you know what the moon looks like? You Dancing Cicada replied, only those with very high authority can look at this information, but I heard that it's a very beautiful place. Hearing this, Zhao Fu also wanted to have a chance to ascend to the moon in the future. You Dancing Cicada looked at how Zhao Fu was thinking and asked, do you want to know more? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, go ahead, I'm listening. You Dancing Cicada continued to say, ascending to the moon is not the end. On the Moon Lord needs to continue cultivating on the moon and use the moon's power to break through one's limit. This is the moon's moon source energy, which will flow into the Moon Lord's body. The Moon Lord's bloodline might rise to the divine bloodline. Zhao Fu thought about You Dancing Cicada's words and said, didn't you say that it is possible to reach the divine bloodline by fusing 12 bloodlines? You Dancing Cicada explained, this is related to the 12 Moons Immortals. Back then, the 12 Moons Immortals had a very good relationship, and even though they weren't biological sisters, they were closer than most biological sisters. They obtained the moon source energy together, lived together, and cultivated together. In the end, the 12 bloodlines formed a special relationship and could fuse together to form a bloodline with 12 moons source energy. At that moment, Zhao Fu interrupted You Dancing Cicada and asked, then how did you obtain the moon source energy? Hearing that the moon source energy was so powerful, Zhao Fu felt quite interested and wanted to obtain this kind of power. You Dancing Cicada thought for a moment and said, because it happened so long ago, the records are not very clear. It seems that it was obtained from a native who lived on the moon. There are people who live on the moon? Zhao Fu asked in surprise. You Dancing Cicada nodded and said, in ancient times, it was said that the moon was inhabited, but not anymore. Zhao Fu asked, then how do you fuse the 12 Moons Immortals? You Dancing Cicada lightly laughed and said, you're not thinking about obtaining the Moon Lord's bloodline, are you? I'm telling you that it's impossible, only women can possess this bloodline. Chapter 2654. Book 1, Chapter 99. Also, the method to fuse the 12 types of moon blood is our secret, so I can't tell you. Also, fusing the 12 types of moon blood is extremely difficult, and only 2 people in history have done it. Those 2 people have already become moon immortals and ascended to the celestial realm. Before coming here, Zhao Fu had heard that the moon blood was very special and powerful. Now that he heard Moon Dancing Cicada's words, he wanted to fuse the moon blood into the first evil immortal's bloodline. The first evil immortal's power would greatly increase. Of course, Zhao Fu did not say this out loud, and he smiled as he said, I'm just very curious about the moon blood. Is there anything else about the moon blood? For example, breaking through to the divine bloodline on the moon. Moon Dancing Cicada said, after a moon lord breaks through to the divine bloodline, his body will go through a qualitative change, and he will obtain a moon body. If nothing unexpected happens, he will basically become a moon immortal. In history, all moon lords who ascended to the moon became moon immortals. Zhao Fu felt quite shocked. Wasn't the 12 months merchant group very terrifying? 30 or so immortals had gone to the celestial realm, but Zhao Fu had heard that the 12 months merchant group was not the most powerful faction apart from the alliance. Instead, it was ranked 3rd, and the 4th was the Yao Ming financial group. Thinking about that, Zhao Fu asked, the 12 months merchant group has so many immortals, so it should be very powerful. Why is it like this now? Moon Dancing Cicada sighed, that was a long time ago. After the moon immortals ascended, we lost contact with the 12 months merchant group. Now, the 12 months merchant group is much weaker than before, and none of the moon lords can ascend to the moon. Otherwise, the 12 months merchant group would be much more powerful. Zhao Fu said, I wonder if I can join the 12 months merchant group? By that time, Zhao Fu had a plan. He would use the 12 months merchant group to help him collect various types of blood and obtain the 12 types of moon blood. Moon Dancing Cicada could not help but laugh as she said, Hee, did I hear wrongly? Zhao Fu said, I'm serious. I want to join the 12 months financial group and work for the 12 financial group. Can you recommend me? First, I don't know who you are. Second, we've only met once. Third, I don't believe that you want to work for the 12 months financial group. I feel like you're after moon blood. You've collected so much essence blood, so you must be very interested in it. Zhao Fu could not refute her words, so he thought about it and said, I do want the moon blood, but I can promise that I won't harm the people from your merchant group. Moreover, I can give you a massive opportunity. Moon Dancing Cicada said, What do you want to do with moon blood? If you want to fuse it into your own body, then I advise you not to. If moon blood fuses into a man's body, it will be a fatal poison, and ordinary women will not be able to obtain moon origin power through moon blood. She did not know that Zhao Fu had the first evil celestial bloodline and could use it to fuse with moon blood. The first evil celestial bloodline could even fuse with divine bloodlines, so this peak imperial bloodline would definitely not be a problem. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, You don't have to worry about that. You just need to recommend me to the financial group and I'll give you a massive opportunity. Isn't this a fair deal? Moon Dancing Cicada smiled as she said, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't really trust you right now. I don't even know who you are. Zhao Fu was not surprised by Moon Dancing Cicada's words and said, I'll tell you my identity. I'm actually a holy sun. After saying that, Zhao Fu's body gave off a holy tear power. This power could cause all creatures to submit and reign above the heavens and earth. This was a power that had been changed by the first evil celestial bloodline. It had originally been Heaven Enlightenment Holy Tear Power, but it had now become Primal Chaos Holy Tear Power. Sensing the Holy Tear Power that Zhao Fu's body gave off, Moon Dancing Cicada looked quite shocked. She had never thought that Zhao Fu's background would be so terrifying. This was the first time she had personally seen a holy sun. She did not know that Zhao Fu's background was even more terrifying. It was the primal chaos child, who had caused massive ripples outside. Zhao Fu looked at Moon Dancing Cicada and asked, How about it? Will you agree? Moon Dancing Cicada thought for a moment before saying, I'm sorry, but I can't. Even though you're a holy sun, I'm worried that you'll harm the 12 months financial group. I can't betray the financial group for some benefit. If you were an ordinary person, I might be able to recommend you, but I never thought that your identity would be so terrifying. Zhao Fu asked with certainty, Is it really impossible? Moon Dancing Cicada nodded and said, I'm truly sorry, Holy Sun. However, even though I can't recommend you, you can go to the 12 months financial group's headquarters with your identity. The 12 Moon Lords will welcome you, and you might be able to obtain moon blood from them. This is much easier than joining the financial group. What she said was true. This method was indeed much easier, but Zhao Fu was not a true holy sun and did not have a holy faction supporting him. He did not have any confidence, and even if the 12 Moon Lords wanted to kill him, he would not have the strength to resist. If he joined through a recommendation, it would be much safer, and he would be able to obtain moon blood stealthily. However, this was quite troublesome and time-consuming. So which method should he choose? After thinking for a moment, Zhao Fu decided to take the risk and choose moon-dancing cicadas method. If something unexpected happened, he could use his identity as the primal chaos child. Even though he could scare them, it would be incredibly dangerous, and it would be best if nothing happened. Another reason was that joining the financial group was too time-consuming, and Zhao Fu could not give up on other things just because of this powerful moon blood. Zhao Fu said, let's do as you say." You dancing cicada inwardly let out a sigh of relief. She did not want to offend Zhao Fu. She was just a manager, and if Zhao Fu wanted to kill her, because of her identity as a holy son, the 12 financial group would not say anything. They would not go against a holy faction for her. Now, this was a very good thing. She could introduce a holy son to their faction as a guest, and the 12 financial group might become friends with a holy faction. This would be of great help to the 12 financial group, and he would be greatly rewarded. You dancing cicada smiled and said, "Holy son, please wait a moment. I'll immediately report this matter." Zhao Fu nodded and said, You dancing cicada smiled and left the room, and she took out a jade medallion and prepared to report this matter to the higher-ups. At that moment, a female attendant hurriedly walked in and said, "Manager, we've just received news that that person's identity is quite terrifying." You dancing cicada happily smiled as she said, "I know who he is, and I'll immediately report that he's a holy son. We've done a great service this time, and we'll all be greatly rewarded if we find a holy son." The female attendant looked quite worried as she said, "He's not a holy son. He might be the primal chaos child. We've received news that everything the Ming Yao Financial Group has done is for the primal chaos child." What? You dancing cicada looked quite confused. Chapter 2655. Book 1, Chapter 100. Chaosua dancing cicada was incredibly shocked. She had thought that Zhao Fu being a holy son was already shocking enough, but she had never thought that Zhao Fu might be a chaos child. This identity was hundreds of times more terrifying than a holy son. Was he really a chaos child? This matter was simply too important, so you dancing cicada said, "Wait at the door for now. I'll immediately report this to the higher-ups." The female attendant nervously nodded. After the higher-ups of the 12 Moons Financial Group heard about this, they were incredibly shocked and immediately reported this to the 12 Moon Lord. After hearing about this, the 12 Moon Lords were also quite shocked. They had never thought that they would be able to find the Chaos Child. They quickly hurried over to the Alliance City. This was a Chaos Child who controlled Chaos Essence energy. They wanted to obtain the method to strengthen Moon Essence energy from Zhao Fu. As part of the origin race, it would be quite easy for them to do so. The 12 Moon Lords did not want anything else. Their only goal was to ascend to Moonstar. Zhao Fu had been waiting in his room, but he sensed that someone was standing guard outside. That person seemed quite nervous, and Zhao Fu felt that something was off. Without hesitating, Zhao Fu's body turned into countless small insects and burrowed into the ground, leaving the 12 Moon Financial Group. Even though he did not know what had happened, he was certain that something had happened. Zhao Fu did not want to stay here, so he immediately left. After hearing that the 12 Moon Lords would personally come, You Dancing Cicada felt quite shocked and immediately went to her room to try and stall Zhao Fu, but she could not find him. "Where's that person?" You Dancing Cicada hurriedly asked. The female attendant looked quite confused as she said, "I've been standing guard outside and haven't seen him leave." You Dancing Cicada said hurriedly, "Immediately send people to look for him. It's possible that he really is that Chaos Child." The female attendant hurriedly left the room. A few days later, Zhao Fu returned to the place where he had arranged with the women. However, what surprised Zhao Fu was that only one group had returned. Before, Zhao Fu had split them into 5 groups led by 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts. Now that 8 or 9 days had passed and they had not returned, something must have happened. Bing Ching Ching and Blood Flying Fish returned. Zhao Fu asked seriously. Why are only you guys back? What happened to the others? Flying Bloodfish said worriedly. We're not sure either. You haven't returned for so long, so we thought something had happened to you. Zhao Fu recalled what had happened when he was buying blood in the Alliance City and asked, Did anything happen when you guys were buying blood? Did anyone pay special attention to you? Blood Flying Fish said, We went to a large merchant group to buy essence blood, and we did attract some people's attention. However, to be careful, we only bought a small portion, and then bought some more from some smaller shop. We bought around 4,000 kinds of essence blood. Zhao Fu said solemnly, Something must have happened to them. The news of me buying blood essence has been leaked. Many people want to use this method to find me. Bing Qing said anxiously. Let's hurry up and find them. Zhao Fu nodded. I'll go alone. You guys just wait here. Bing Qing and Blood Flying Fish nodded. Zhao Fu turned into a ray of light and flew in a direction. This was where Ziyu, Ziyan, and He Lan Er had left. Within a private room, Ziyu and the other two women were sitting, their expressions quite grim. Ziyu said seriously, We need to think of a way to leave this place. It's been so long, and everyone else has long since returned. Ziyan frowned. Mother, this is the city lord's mansion. How are we supposed to leave? He Lan Er lightly harumphed. It's all your fault for looking for trouble. Ziyan angrily yelled. I'm looking for trouble? That bastard was the one who took liberties with me. How could I not retaliate? I understand now. It's definitely because you like being taken liberties with by others. He Lan Er also said angrily. I'm not that kind of woman, only my husband has touched me. Also, I'm telling the truth. Wasn't this caused by you? 2 days ago, Ziyu had brought the two of them to buy essence blood. Just as they were about to leave the Alliance City, a frivolous-looking man stopped them and said that Ziyan was his woman. Ziyan coldly told him to scram. This angered the man, and he suddenly leapt up, wanting to molest Ziyan. However, he was kicked away by Ziyan. The man was the son of the Alliance City's manager, and he called his father over. Seeing his son being beaten, his father did not hesitate to teach Ziyan a lesson. As Ziyan's mother, she definitely could not watch as her daughter was injured, and a fight erupted between the two of them. Following this, the other Alliance City's managers hurried over. Ziyu was not as strong as Zhao Fu, so she was suppressed by the managers. In that dangerous moment, Ziyan cried out, Don't hurt my mother, or else you'll all die. This caused the managers to stop and ask about Ziyu and the two women's identities. Ziyu said that she was from Duo Valley and gave a simple explanation of what had just happened. Before, the managers were in the wrong and feared Duo Valley's strength. On one hand, they wanted to confirm their identities and have them send a message to Duo Valley so that they could come and take their people. On the other hand, they wanted to suppress Duo Valley, or else they would lose face as Alliance City's managers. Ziyu did not want this matter to spread to Duo Valley, so when she had left, she had planned to cut off contact with Duo Valley and did not tell anyone else that she had left. In the end, she was kept by the managers in the city hall. The frivolous-looking young man pleaded, Father, I really like that woman, please give her to me. I really like that woman. Just give her to me. It's been 2 days, and I don't think they're from Duo Valley. They dared to make a move in the Alliance City and broke the rules, so they should be punished. The long-faced middle-aged man said, Even if they are not the ones who stole the valley, that beautiful woman's cultivation is at the Emperor Heaven realm. Anyone with such cultivation is not an ordinary person. The frivolous man said, So what? There are many Emperor Heaven realm experts. Father, you're from the Alliance, so who would dare to go against the Alliance? I've been dead for so long, so why not take that beautiful woman as your woman and I'll take the other 2 women? When the middle-aged man heard this, he thought of Ziyu's beauty and felt a little tempted. The frivolous man laughed as he said, "Father, you're the manager of a rank 7 Alliance city, so it should be easy for you to obtain that beautiful woman. Trust me, she'll quickly submit to you." The middle-aged man thought for a moment. "All right, I can give it a try, but son, after you get those 2 women, you have to behave yourself and don't go around causing trouble." The frivolous man said with a smile. "Got it, Dad." The middle-aged man and the frivolous man came to the room, and the frivolous man said with a smile, "It's been 2 days. You don't want to be locked up here forever, right?" Chapter 2656. Book 1, Chapter 101. End of Book 1. Ziyen angrily glared at him. "Aren't you just spouting nonsense? Who wants to stay here forever?" The frivolous man gave a trace of a smile. "That's good. Now that you're my woman and my father's woman, you can immediately leave this place. I'm sincere towards you and I promise not to touch other women." Ziyen said in disgust, "Don't even think about it." The middle-aged man warmly smiled as he said to Ziyu, "I apologize for what my son did in the past. I believe that with my current conditions, I won't be too bad. If you become my woman, I'll treat you sincerely. You'll also have the Alliance as your backing and won't have to wander around." Ziyu looked quite confused. She had never thought that the middle-aged man would place his attention on her. She coldly laughed. "Look at you and your son. Do you think you're worthy of my daughter and me?" Hearing this, the frivolous man furiously yelled, "Don't be so shameless. We can deal with you however we want." Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as a terrifying might covered the entire Alliance city, causing the air to become heavy and making it difficult for people to breathe. Everyone looked up at the sky in terror and thought to themselves, "Who dares to act so brazenly in the Alliance city?" A black-cloaked man stood in the sky, giving off a terrifying aura as if he was a peerless expert. Sensing this aura, the expressions of the managers fell and they hurriedly rushed out and flew into the sky. Seeing them appear, Zhao Fu said coldly, "Hurry up and hand over my people." The managers started to feel quite confused, but they immediately understood that Zhao Fu was related to Ziyu. One of the young men said, "This is the Alliance city. Don't you think Sir is going too far? Don't think that you can break the rules just because you're here to steal the valley." Sensing this aura, the middle-aged man flew out with a serious expression. Sensing this massive aura, Ziyu and the other 2 women looked delighted and walked out of their rooms, calling out in unison, "Husband." The frivolous man looked quite confused. He had never thought that the woman he liked would already have a man. Moreover, both Ziyu and Ziyen were his women, which made him feel quite envious. Seeing that the 3 of them were fine, Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief and said, "Leave the Alliance city with me." Seeing that he was ignored by Zhao Fu, the youth who had spoken earlier shouted angrily, "I'm talking to you. Didn't you hear me?" Zhao Fu coldly glared at him. His terrifying gaze caused the young man's heart to fill with fear, and he took a step back. Zhao Fu said coldly, "It's fine if I don't find trouble with you now, but you still dare to find trouble with me?" Boom! An even greater aura exploded out from Zhao Fu's body. It was a saint's aura that reigned above the heavens and earth, and the managers' bodies sank as they felt an immense pressure. Their expressions changed. They understood that the person in front of them was a holy son, and they indeed did not dare to offend him. Ziyu and the other 2 girls smiled and flew into the sky, arriving in front of Zhao Fu. Ziyen hugged Zhao Fu. "Why did you only come now? We were locked up by these people for 2 days. I was even bullied by the people here." A fearful expression appeared on the middle-aged man's face as he said, "My son was in the wrong. I apologize." He Lanr said coldly, "Just an apology? How did you and that son of yours speak to us like that?" The middle-aged man's expression became even more unsightly. They had just wanted to force Ziyen to become their woman, but they had never thought that Zhao Fu would come looking for them. Facing a legendary holy son, The middle-aged man felt immense pressure, and he looked at the other managers. The other managers turned their heads away. This was a holy son, and they did not dare to offend him, much less participate in this matter. The middle-aged man turned his head and berated his son. "Hurry up and kneel down and admit your mistakes." The frivolous man's face paled and he knelt on the ground. "I was wrong. Holy son, please let me off this time. I definitely won't dare to do it again." Ziyen lightly harumphed. "Now you regret it?" The frivolous man knelt on the ground in fear. "I'm sorry. I was too daring to offend you. I know I was wrong." Ziyen wanted to say something, but Zhao Fu said, "Let's leave this place as soon as possible." Hearing this, Ziyen did not say anything else and nodded in agreement. Everyone spent some time to return to the meeting place, and at that moment, Feng Shensha's group returned. Seeing them return, Zhao Fu inwardly let out a sigh of relief. "Why did you only return now?" Feng Shensha said, "After buying the essence blood, we were planning to return, but we were followed by some people. It took us a few days to shake them off, and we felt that they were from the Yao Ming Financial Group, so we bought the essence blood from them." This matter was mainly related to the Yao Ming Financial Group. They really wanted to see Zhao Fu and were willing to pay such a price. Skeletal Beauty softly asked, "Why haven't the others returned yet? Did they also encounter something like us?" Zhao Fu said, "I'm not sure about that. I still have to go take a look." Skeletal Beauty replied, "All right. Hurry up and go. Since they haven't returned in such a long time, they must have encountered some danger. Let's go take a look at the other group." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "Each group has an Emperor Heaven Realm expert leading them, but they still encountered danger. This means that ordinary Emperor Heaven Realm experts will not be able to resolve this matter. If you go, you'll be in danger, so I'll go. The other two groups aren't too far away." Skeletal Beauty lightly nodded. Zhao Fu said worriedly, "The people who stay here should be careful. If anything unexpected happens, immediately leave and don't wait for me here." The middle-aged man nodded. He had never thought that they would encounter such a thing, and he could only hope that the other two groups were not in danger. "Arg!" A pained cry sounded out as a sharp saber light cut off Shui Mu's arm, causing transparent blood to continuously flow out. Shing! Another saber light containing a sharp power slashed towards Shui Mu's body. Shui Mu immediately reverted to her original form, and countless tentacles grew out of her body and lashed out. The tentacles danced chaotically with great power, causing the ground to shatter, rocks to fly everywhere, and turbulence to spread in all directions. After a series of random attacks, it seemed that they had not hit anyone. A saber light suddenly brought with it an enormous gale, as it sent Shui Mu's body flying back. A cold-looking young man laughed as he said, "Who would have thought that it would be a king-level insect beast? If we capture you, we can sell you for a large sum of money." Hong Qian blocked in front of Shui Mu and said furiously, "I won't let you succeed. You damned bitch. You can't even protect yourself and you want to protect others?" A middle-aged man said condescendingly. Hong Qian coldly glared at the middle-aged man because she was quite familiar with him. Chapter 2657. Book 1. Chapter 102. This man was Hong He, Hong Qian's husband. When the three women and Zhao Fu had left Dou Valley, Hong He had guessed the relationship between Hong Qian and Zhao Fu, and he felt incredibly furious. However, because of the blood-flying fish, he did not dare to directly chase after Zhao Fu and the others, so he could only endure it for now. However, he had never thought that he would encounter the three women in the Alliance City. Hong He could not endure the fury in his heart and brought two other experts to stop the three women. Hong Yen begged, "Father, please don't be like this." Hong He furiously cursed, "Scram! You're a lowly woman just like your mother." Hong Yen felt quite guilty towards her father and felt that she had let him down. Hong Qian said coldly, I remembered our past relationship and gave you many good things from the treasury, but you actually attacked us. If I had known, I would have just let him kill you." Hong He loudly laughed. "He can kill me?" Hong Qian said. "He has Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation. Killing you people will be incredibly easy." Hearing this, Hong He felt quite surprised. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would also be at the Emperor Heaven Realm. However, he did not feel any fear and laughed as he said, "So what if he's very powerful? Can he save you? Don't worry, I won't let you die right away. I'll let you know the consequences of betraying me." A bald young man looked at Hong Yen and said evilly, "Hong He, I helped you this time. It's not too much for me to take your daughter, right?" Hong He lightly laughed as he said, "Take her as you please. I no longer see her as my daughter. Just looking at them makes me feel disgusted." The cold-looking young man said, "Then I want that king-class insect beast." Hong He laughed as he said, "Sure." Shing. A saber hum sounded out as the cold-looking young man turned into a ray of saber light and rushed forwards. Hong Qian swung the whip in her hand, sending out a powerful energy towards the cold-looking young man. The two of them collided, resulting in a massive explosion, and the cold-looking young man was blocked. Hong He threw a punch at Hong Qian with a ferocious gust of wind. Hong Qian swung the whip in his hand forcefully, creating a huge arc of light as it struck at Hong He. At that moment, the gloomy young man disappeared and reappeared beside Hong Qian, slashing at Hong Qian with his saber. Hong Qian didn't have time to react and was sent flying by the saber. A wound appeared on his arm and blood flowed out continuously. A massive tentacle shot out with great power towards the gloomy-looking young man, and the young man coldly laughed as he slashed out with his saber, cutting off the tentacle. Shui Mu roared, and one tentacle after another shot towards the gloomy young man with a powerful force. Enraged, Red Core charged towards Red Light. Hong Yen wanted to help, but the bald young man stopped her and said with a smile, "You're mine now. Behave yourself." Hong Yen coldly snorted and slashed out with her sword. A sword light slashed towards the bald youth. The bald youth did not mind and waved his hand, causing a massive wave of power to shatter the sword light. The bald youth laughed as he said, "With your strength, you're not a match for me." Hong Yan's expression was cold as she continuously slashed towards the bald youth with her sword. She understood that she was not a match for the bald youth, but by holding him back, she would be able to help the others. The bald youth slapped out with his palms, causing a powerful force to shatter the incoming sword light. He then rushed towards Hong Yen, causing her to hurriedly run backwards. The bald youth teasingly looked at the running Hong Yen and laughed as he said, "Run faster, or else I'll catch up to you." Hong Yen immediately sped up and ran forward. However, the bald youth quickly caught up to her. The difference in their cultivations was simply too great. Seeing the bald youth continuously close in on her, Hong Yan's expression became quite unsightly. Bang! A terrifying fist energy suddenly blasted out from the side, causing the bald youth to panic and use his hand to block. However, he was still sent flying by the fist energy, heavily crashing into the ground and creating a large crater. Blood leaked out of the bald youth's mouth as he angrily looked at the young man in the sky. Looking at the young man who had appeared, Hong Yen immediately gave a happy smile and called out, "Husband." The bald youth looked quite surprised and understood that this young man was the person who had taken his wife and daughter from Hong He. Zhao Fu looked at Hong Yen and asked caringly, "Are you all right?" Hong Yen flew over to Zhao Fu's side and smiled as she said, "I'm not injured at all." Now, Hong Yen treated Zhao Fu the same way she treated the bald youth. The bald youth furiously roared and leapt up from the ground, causing the ground to instantly shatter. He gripped his fist and gave off terrifying power as he quickly rushed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu coldly laughed and gripped his fist, causing a black aura flame to cover his fist and give off a shocking aura as he rushed towards the bald youth. Bang! The two people's fists collided, causing a ferocious gale to blast out in all directions. Countless plants were uprooted and rocks were sent flying. In the next moment, the bald youth's body flew backwards like a meteor, smashing open a large crater. He coughed up a large mouthful of blood and felt as if one of his hands had been broken. The massive shockwaves caused the other two people to stop and look over. Seeing that Zhao Fu had come, Shui Mu and Hong Qian looked quite delighted and relaxed. With Zhao Fu here, they did not have to be afraid. The two of them flew over to Zhao Fu's side. Hong He looked at the bald young man on the ground, and his expression became serious. Indeed, Hong Qian had said that Zhao Fu was very powerful and had Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation. The cold-looking youth flew over to Hong He and asked, "Is he that man?" Hong He nodded. Zhao Fu looked at Hong Qian and Shui Mu, who were both quite injured, and said, "Leave this to me. You two go and heal yourselves." Shui Mu and Hong Qian smiled and nodded, landed on the ground, and started to heal their wounds. Zhao Fu coldly looked at Hong He and said, "You two are seeking death." Hong He said furiously, "Trash, do you think your elder fears you? You dare to steal my women? I'll beat you to a pulp." Boom! Hong He exploded out with all of his power, and a red aura flame erupted around his body as terrifying shockwaves rippled out. Bang! Hong He punched out, and a red fist that was hundreds of meters wide gave off a shocking aura as it slammed towards Zhao Fu, seeming to be able to shatter a mountain. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a simple black semicircular barrier appeared in front of Zhao Fu. Boom! The terrifying fist slammed against the barrier with shocking power, turning into a wild red gale that blew out, resulting in a massive explosion. However, it did not deal much damage to the barrier. The cold-looking youth suddenly appeared next to Zhao Fu and raised his saber, slashing towards Zhao Fu with enough power to split apart mountains. Zhao Fu's body instantly disappeared and reappeared next to the cold-looking youth. He vigorously kicked out, hitting the cold-looking youth's waist and sending him flying like a rubber ball. Chapter 2658. Book 1, Chapter 103. Zhao Fu looked at Hong He. Hong He's expression changed. Zhao Fu's body disappeared in an instant. Hong He felt a strong sense of danger and did not dare to attack. He used his hands to block in front of him and defended with all his might. At that moment, Zhao Fu appeared in front of Hong He. His fist gave off a black light and a terrifying power as it landed on Hong He's arms. Hong He roared and used all of his strength, causing the muscles on his arms to bulge. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Hong He was sent flying by that terrifying power. His hands were red and swollen, and blood flowed out. Hong He's expression was unsightly. Now that he had personally experienced Zhao Fu's terrifying power, he knew how terrifying Zhao Fu was. Even with his full strength, he could not block a single punch from Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu said with a cold smile, "I already said that you're courting death." Bang! Zhao Fu's body disappeared in an instant and appeared in front of Hong He. He kicked out forcefully, sending Hong He's body towards the ground. Clang! A loud saber hum sounded out as the cold-looking young man raised the saber in his hand. The saber gave off countless rays of light, forming a saber that was hundreds of meters long. It brought with it the power to split the heavens and earth as it slashed towards Zhao Fu. Countless saber lights poured out. In that instant, Zhao Fu was drowned by the saber light. A saber wall formed from saber lights appeared in midair, giving off an extremely sharp aura as if it could cut through skin. However, when the saber lights dissipated, Zhao Fu was not injured at all and stood on the spot. The cold-looking young man looked stunned. Zhao Fu turned into a ray of light and rushed towards the cold-looking young man. The cold-looking young man actually turned and ran. He was afraid and understood that he was not a match for Zhao Fu. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as the cold-looking young man was struck down and heavily smashed onto the ground. Countless rocks were sent flying and dust filled the air. The three people who had been so arrogant just now were now lying on the ground in a sorry state. The cold-looking young man begged in fear, "Don't kill me, I'm begging you. I can hand over my treasures." Shui Mu coldly harumphed, "Master, don't let him go. This guy hurt me badly." Zhao Fu's gaze turned cold as he stretched out his hand, which turned into a massive black hand that grabbed towards the cold-looking young man. The cold-looking young man became determined and slashed out with his saber with all his strength, causing a massive saber light to slash towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's massive black hand grabbed the saber light and gripped it. The saber light directly shattered, and the black hand continued to slap towards the cold-looking young man. Boom! A deafening sound rang out as the gigantic black hand slammed into the ground, causing the ground to tremble. The black hand dissipated, and a gigantic palm print appeared on the ground. The cold-looking young man was lying in the center, his body sunk into the ground, no longer breathing. Fu 1. How S of 5, Fu. Li another. Fu I Li of. Finally, Zhao Fu looked at Hong He in terror. Hong He looked at Zhao Fu in terror, and his body slightly trembled. Knowing how monstrous Zhao Fu's power was, even if his woman was taken by Zhao Fu, he would choose to endure it. After all, being alive was better than being dead. It was a pity that there was no point in regretting. It was evident that Zhao Fu would not let him off. Zhao Fu's expression was cold as he once again stretched out a hand. Countless traces of black aura flowed out and turned into a massive hand that slapped towards Hong He with immense power. Hong Yen looked at her father and could not help but beg, "Husband, can you let my father off this time?" Zhao Fu stopped and felt quite hesitant. Hong Qian came to Zhao Fu's side and said softly, "Give him one last chance. After all, we were husband and wife, and he's Hong Yan's father. Moreover, we've let him down." Hong He also pleaded, "I was wrong, please let me off this once. I have no objections to Hong Qian becoming your woman. I wish you all the best." Zhao Fu looked at the red core and hesitated. Hong Qian stepped forward, hugged Zhao Fu and said softly, "This is the last time. If he dares to do this again, I won't stop you from killing him." Zhao Fu looked at Hong Qian in his arms and nodded. "Get lost." Hong He heaved a sigh of relief. Afraid that Zhao Fu would go back on his word, he hurriedly ran to the side, looking very disheveled. Hong Yen said with a smile, "Thank you, husband." Zhao Fu looked at them and asked, "How are your injuries recovering?" Hong Qian replied, "I've recovered a little." Zhao Fu said, "Then I'll help you guys recover from your injuries. Later on, you guys have to go back on your own. I have other places to go." Hong Qian asked curiously, "What happened?" Zhao Fu said, There's still a team that hasn't returned. They most likely ran into some danger." Hong Qian said, "Don't help us recover from our injuries. Hurry and see what happened to that team." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "Be careful." Hong Qian smiled and nodded. Zhao Fu was also worried about the safety of the last team, so he did not waste any time and turned into a ray of light and disappeared over the horizon. Immediately, Zhao Fu went to an alliance city. However, after carefully sensing around, he could not sense Ericina. Zhao Fu had a powerful sense for all women, and Zhao Fu had used this ability to find them. If Ericina wasn't in this alliance city, then where would she go? On the way back, Zhao Fu sensed around and could not find Ericina's aura. Zhao Fu frowned and planned to go to the alliance city to ask around to see if anyone had seen Ericina and the others. After asking around, Zhao Fu did not find any information about Ericina, but he found out that a historical remnant was about to open and had attracted countless people. Zhao Fu wondered if Ericina had gone to this historical remnant. He heard that this historical remnant was a blood demon historical remnant, and it was related to blood. Ericina most likely wanted to go there to help him obtain a lot of rare blood. After hearing about the historical remnant, Zhao Fu immediately flew in that direction. After spending half a day, Zhao Fu arrived near the historical remnant and carefully sensed around. Indeed, he sensed Ericina and quickly flew towards her. Ericina was standing on an empty area with the Lan Banyuan brothers standing next to her. There were many people standing around them, most likely people who wanted to enter the historical remnant. Seeing that they were fine, Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief and landed beside them. Ericina looked at Zhao Fu and said in surprise, "Why are you here?" Zhao Fu said, "A few teams ran into danger when I went back, and I was worried about you guys, so I came to find you." Ericina smiled and hugged Zhao Fu as she said, "You can relax now." Chapter 2659. Book 1. Zhao Fu was stunned. Because of time constraints, Zhao Fu had only heard about the Blood Demon historical remnant and did not know anything else. As such, he asked, "How long until the Blood Demon historical remnant opens?" Ericina said, "It should be opening soon. We've been waiting here for 3 days." Zhao Fu continued to ask, "Do you know anything about this Blood Demon?" Ericina nodded. "This blood demon is a demonic creature that was born from blood water and has the power to devour all kinds of blood. With this ability and potential, it became a monstrous expert and became bloodthirsty. In the end, it was killed here by a peerless expert, and this place became the Blood Demon historical remnant. There are all sorts of monsters related to blood within the Blood Demon historical remnant, as well as some treasures that the Blood Demon collected. I heard that there might be divine blood, so I came." Zhao Fu felt quite surprised. There might be divine blood, so he felt even more anticipation towards the Blood Demon historical remnant. A few hours later, boom! A massive explosion sounded out as space continuously twisted and a shocking power spread out. Countless blood-red clouds covered the sky, and a dense bloody smell spread out. A large hole appeared in the sky, and within the hole was a blood-red region. Seeing that the historical remnant had opened, countless people immediately flew up from the ground and flooded into the large hole. Zhao Fu did not rush in with them, and he waited until most of them had gone in before entering with Ericina. As for the Lan brothers, they stayed outside. Their cultivations were too low, and they might cause trouble for them. After flying into the blood-red region and seeing that the sky was blood-red, the ground was blood-red, and there were all sorts of blood-red plants growing all around them, Zhao Fu felt quite delighted. He felt that this was a suitable place to cultivate the number 1 evil celestial bloodline. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Let's go and have a look." This was just the outer region of the Blood Demon historical remnant, and there were not many good things here. Even if there were, they would have been plundered by people before, so Zhao Fu did not waste any time here. After flying for a while, Zhao Fu saw a massive blood-red bug with many fangs and a blood-red eye leap out of the blood water and devour a few people. Those people did not even have time to scream before they died. This place was very dangerous, and the mortality rate was very high. The crimson worm was still not satisfied after eating a few people. It looked at Zhao Fu and the rest coldly, and its huge body flew towards Zhao Fu. The crimson bug came to Zhao Fu's side, opened its mouth, and bit at Zhao Fu and Zhao Fu. Facing the incoming mouth, Zhao Fu remained calm and unafraid. Just as the bloodworm was about to devour Zhao Fu opened his mouth. In an instant, Zhao Fu's mouth became even bigger than the blood-red bug's body. This caused the blood-red bug's expression to freeze, and before it could react, it was swallowed by Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu's mouth quickly returned to normal, and the blood-red bug that Zhao Fu had swallowed turned into countless traces of blood-red energy that scattered throughout Zhao Fu's body. Ericina rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. "Don't be such a bad person." Zhao Fu chuckled. "The essence of the blood worm here can improve the bloodline of the first evil immortal. It is of some use to me." The two of them continued to fly forward and arrived in front of a blood-colored tree. This blood-colored tree was more than 100 meters tall, and its branches were luxuriant. Its trunk was blood-colored, and its leaves were triangular. There were many fruits that looked like blood jades, and they were the size of grapes. The tree was protected by a barrier, and there were many people standing around it. Zhao Fu was a little confused. Why were they standing here, and not going forward to break the barrier and obtain the blood fruits? This barrier did not seem very sturdy. After waiting for more than a minute, Zhao Fu could not wait any longer, and he flew forward. Seeing Zhao Fu fly up, everyone smiled. This tree was called the Blood Dragon Tree, and its fruits were called Blood Dragon Fruit. They could strengthen bloodlines and physiques, and they were very valuable. The Blood Dragon Tree still needed some time to mature, but if Devour had a lot of flesh, it would mature earlier. Everyone had come here a few times, and they knew about this. Usually, newcomers did not know about this, and seeing Zhao Fu fly over foolishly, no one stopped him. Whoosh! When Zhao Fu approached the Blood Dragon Tree, the tree produced a huge suction force, and the people around felt that their blood was being sucked out of their bodies. Their expressions changed, and they quickly retreated. They felt that this suction force was many times stronger than before. Zhao Fu was not affected at all, and this suction force could not absorb the origin blood in Zhao Fu's body. Everyone looked quite confused, and seeing that Zhao Fu was not affected at all, he continued to fly forwards. Understanding that Zhao Fu was not simple, the Blood Dragon Tree gave off an even greater suction force, and it was like a wild gale. The blood-red aura, rocks, and weeds in the surroundings all flew towards it, causing everyone to look serious as they continued to retreat. However, Zhao Fu was not affected at all, and he came in front of the Blood Dragon Tree. The massive suction force stopped, and countless blood-red tendrils shot out from the ground, rushing towards Zhao Fu like a flood. Zhao Fu did not do anything, and the countless roots quickly wrapped around Zhao Fu, forming a massive ball of trees. Seeing this, everyone felt quite confused. Why was that person not resisting? A while later, a tall and skinny young man said in shock, "Is that person dead?" A woman in green shook her head. "I don't know, but even Emperor Heaven Realm experts will be in danger if they are bound by the Blood Dragon Tree." An elder said, "Let's hope that the Blood Dragon Tree will be able to mature after absorbing his essence blood." Within the ball of trees, Zhao Fu's expression was calm and did not look like he was in danger at all. The many roots wrapped around Zhao Fu's body, trying to absorb Zhao Fu's blood, but they were unable to absorb any of it. Zhao Fu said in boredom, "With your abilities, you won't be able to absorb any of my blood." The Blood Dragon Tree said in a clear female voice, "Who are you? Why can't I absorb any of your blood?" Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "Because you can't absorb any of my blood with your power." The Blood Dragon Tree's power was blood energy, which was completely suppressed by Zhao Fu's bloodline power. The difference in power was massive, so even if Zhao Fu did not defend and allowed the Blood Dragon Tree to absorb his blood, it would not be able to absorb any of it. The Blood Dragon Tree cried out in disbelief, "Impossible, my power comes from Lord Blood Demon's primal Chaos Demon bloodline. That's an incredibly powerful power. How could I not be able to absorb your blood?" Zhao Fu said condescendingly, "What kind of trash power is that? Can it compare to bloodline power?" The Blood Dragon Tree said angrily, "You dare to insult Lord Blood Demon? I'll kill you." The Blood Dragon Tree gave off a massive blood-red chi, and the countless roots wrapped around Zhao Fu tightened, wanting to strangle Zhao Fu to death. Zhao Fu vigorously struggled, and a terrifying force bounced all of the roots away. The Emperor Heaven Realm experts hurriedly took out their weapons and gave off powerful energy to defend. Bang! Bang! The Emperor Heaven Realm experts were sent flying back 10 or so meters, and a trace of blood leaked out of their mouths as their expressions became quite unsightly. Zhao Fu hugged the blood dragon tree with one hand and gave off a terrifying aura as he said domineeringly, "Who else dares to fight over it?" The Elder and the Emperor Heaven Realm experts remained silent. They understood that Zhao Fu was far more powerful than them. Everyone looked at each other, but facing Zhao Fu's terrifying power, no one dared to say anything. A short young man called out, "Don't be afraid. We have so many people." Hearing this, everyone made a decision and gathered their power as they charged at Zhao Fu. The blood dragon tree's fruits were already quite precious, and the blood dragon tree itself was even more so. If Zhao Fu took it away, he would not have any more blood dragon tree fruits in the future. Zhao Fu swung out a hand, and countless insect beasts flowed out, turning into a massive arm that he vigorously swung out. Bang! 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 Muffled explosions sounded out as the people charging over were swept away like gravel, unable to resist at all. Zhao Fu's terrifying arm grabbed out, grabbing 10 or so people's bodies. He then vigorously clenched, causing 10 or so people's bodies to explode and blood to fly everywhere. Boom! Zhao Fu vigorously waved his hand, and his massive and terrifying arm once again sent the people charging at him flying. Everyone in the surroundings looked terrified as they looked at Zhao Fu's terrifying arm. Just what kind of monster was this? Zhao Fu's voice was incredibly domineering as he said, "Keep going." By now, no one dared to charge up anymore. Just then, so many people had charged over and most of them had died. Those who were lucky enough to survive were all heavily injured. The Emperor Heaven Realm experts had not dared to charge up before, and now they did not dare to do so. Zhao Fu coldly harumphed and walked to the side with the blood dragon tree. No one dared to stop Zhao Fu and could only watch as Zhao Fu used his power. Seeing Zhao Fu's power, the blood dragon tree felt quite afraid. Ericina gave a faint smile as she followed behind Zhao Fu. She had not done anything before, as she understood that Zhao Fu had the power to deal with this. Zhao Fu brought the two of them to a place, and the blood dragon tree returned to its original tree form. Zhao Fu took all of the blood dragon tree fruits, which were 3,000 or so in total. Zhao Fu tasted one and found that it tasted quite disgusting, as it had a dense taste of blood. It did not improve his bloodline much. Zhao Fu felt quite disappointed and had the blood dragon tree change back to its human form. Being played around by Zhao Fu, the blood dragon tree angrily said, "What do you want to do to me?" Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and 8 runes appeared, and blood was extracted from the blood dragon tree. As Zhao Fu sucked the blood dragon tree's blood, he replied, "I'm not doing anything. Tell me what you want to know." The blood dragon tree angrily glared at Zhao Fu. She had wanted to suck Zhao Fu's blood, but now that Zhao Fu was sucking her blood, she could not resist and asked, "What do you want to know?" After fusing the blood dragon tree's blood into the first evil immortal bloodline, the effects were even greater than fusing with a sovereign's bloodline. This caused Zhao Fu to smile in delight. This blood devil historical remnant was quite extraordinary, and it would definitely be of great benefit to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu said, "Is there anything similar to yours? Are there any other treasures?" The blood dragon tree said, "If I tell you, will you let me go?" Zhao Fu said, "I won't, but if you don't tell me, I'll make you feel pain." The blood dragon tree angrily harumphed, "I don't know either. Back then, I was just a tree planted by Lord Blood Demon, and after absorbing blood for countless years, I became like this." Zhao Fu thought about it, "Then how much do you know about the Blood Demon?" The Blood Abyssal Tree said worshipfully, "Lord Blood Devil was a very powerful existence, and he treated us very well. However, such a good Lord Blood Devil was killed, and Blood Devil's cultivation has fallen to this state. I will definitely take revenge for Lord Blood Devil." Apex. Chapter 2661. Book 1, Chapter 106. Zhao Fu was slightly puzzled. Wasn't this blood devil said to be bloodthirsty? Why would it treat the blood dragon tree well? However, thinking about how it might treat its own people well, it might be cruel to others. Zhao Fu was not very concerned about this. He asked, I only want to know what benefits I can get from you. There's no need to say anything else. The blood dragon tree said angrily, I have a strong sense in the blood devil realm. I can help you find some good things. Zhao Fu nodded his head in satisfaction. The blood dragon tree probed, If I help you find treasures, can you let me go? Zhao Fu smiled. No. The blood dragon tree stared at Zhao Fu angrily. She did not want to help Zhao Fu, but she was afraid that Zhao Fu would torture her. Zhao Fu let the blood dragon tree sense, and followed her to search for treasures. A few hours later, Zhao Fu followed the blood dragon tree to a huge blood lake. It was tens of thousands of miles wide. The lake water was constantly tumbling. In the middle of the lake, there was a pearl that was emitting intense blood light. This pearl was so eye-catching, but no one took it away. This place must be very dangerous. The blood dragon tree said, That pearl is Lord Blood Devil's treasure, the demonic god blood pearl. It is a powerful blood attribute treasure. However, there are countless terrifying bloodworms hidden under the blood lake. They will devour anyone who wants to get close. Zhao Fu nodded his head and walked towards the blood lake. The blood dragon tree and Ericina stood on the spot. As Zhao Fu continued to walk forward, the tumbling blood lake started to boil. Worm beasts popped their heads out from the bottom of the lake. Some looked like lizards, some looked like otters, some looked like crocodiles, some looked like monkeys, and some looked like snakes. Numerous blood-red eyes stared coldly at Zhao Fu. No one dared to get close. A chill ran down their spine. Zhao Fu's lips curled up. He continued to walk towards the blood lake. He also wanted to find so many bloodworms. The bloodworms were stunned. Why wasn't this person afraid when he saw so many of them? Instead, he seemed to be happy? Ga. At that moment, countless screeches sounded out from within Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's body instantly turned into countless bug beasts. There were ugly spiders, earthworms with teeth, ladybugs with human faces, and huge mosquitoes. All of them ferociously pounced towards the bloodworms in the lake. Countless blood bugs felt a sense of fear and instinctively wanted to escape. However, countless bug beasts leapt into the blood lake and started to devour the blood bug. A huge earthworm bit off the head of a bloodworm, a mosquito beast pierced its mouth into the body of a bloodworm and sucked it dry. A long centipede coiled around a bloodworm and devoured it savagely. The blood bugs desperately resisted and used all sorts of abilities to attack the insect beasts. The two sides fought intensely, but they were not a match for the insect beasts. This was because the countless insect beasts were transformed from Zhao Fu, and each of them had great power. The blood abyssal tree looked at this chaotic scene in shock. It was a one-sided massacre and could not help but ask, just what kind of monster is this person? A while later, Zhao Fu was able to easily devour all of the blood bugs, and the first evil immortal received a great deal of power. The countless insect beasts once again gathered together and turned into Zhao Fu's appearance. Standing on the surface of the lake, Zhao Fu was about to go up and take the orb. Swish, 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 countless blood-colored vines suddenly shot out from all directions, and a black mass of vines shot towards Zhao Fu, looking incredibly terrifying. This move again? Zhao Fu could not help but laugh, and he stopped where he was. Countless vines wrapped around Zhao Fu's body, turning him into a massive ball that stood on the surface of the lake. The blood abyssal tree sighed. She knew that Zhao Fu was not in danger because she had suffered because of this. She wanted to devour Zhao Fu's blood, but she was unable to do so at all. It was the same for the blood-colored vines. After binding up Zhao Fu's body, she wanted to devour Zhao Fu's blood. She had been holding back and attacking Zhao Fu all this time for this opportunity. The blood-colored vines looked quite startled. She was startled to find that she was unable to devour Zhao Fu's blood. This was the first time she had encountered something like this. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and a massive wave of blood qi flowed out from his body, quickly entering the blood-colored vines. The blood-colored vines hurriedly tried to retract the countless vines, but it was too late. She was quickly losing control of her body. In the end, Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and grabbed towards the bottom of the lake. A massive wave of power spread out and a woman was caught by Zhao Fu. This woman had a cold expression and blood-colored long hair. She had a graceful figure and there were blood-colored vines wrapped around her body. She was the blood-colored vine's main body. The blood-colored vines vigorously struggled and cried out coldly, "Be ****, let me go!" Zhao Fu carried the blood-colored vines and walked over to the orb. He stretched out his hand and grabbed the orb before returning to the surface of the lake. He threw the blood-colored vines to the side and looked at the orb. The orb could release boundless amounts of blood-red water and could change into all sorts of shape. Zhao Fu could turn it into a blood-red sword, a blood-red chain, a blood-red lake, or even a powerful blood-red beast. It was incredibly powerful. Zhao Fu's eyes lit up as he looked at the orb. The blood dragon tree looked at the blood-colored vines on the ground and felt that they were in the same boat. It kindly advised, "Stop struggling and be more obedient." The blood-colored vines coldly said, "I won't submit." Ericina said with a smile, "This is the sentence I've heard the most." The blood dragon tree said, "That fellow is incredibly despicable. It doesn't matter if you submit or not, in the end you still have to listen to him. Do you have the strength to resist?" Hearing this, the blood-colored vines calmed down. Right now, she indeed did not have the strength to resist Zhao Fu, and doing all of this was useless. Zhao Fu did not use his power to restrain her and smiled as he said, "Be more obedient or else you'll suffer." The blood-colored vines lightly harumphed and turned her head to the side. Zhao Fu looked at the blood dragon tree and asked, "What other treasures are there in other places?" The blood-colored vines reacted and said angrily, "So it was you who brought him here. How could you do this?" The blood dragon tree said helplessly, "I didn't want to, but I had no choice." Zhao Fu looked at the disobedient blood-colored vines and stretched out a hand. A wave of 6 desires demonic qi flowed out and quickly entered the blood-colored vine's body. The blood-colored vine's face became red, and she angrily glared at Zhao Fu. The blood dragon tree said, "There is another place in front with a treasure." Zhao Fu smiled and brought the 3 of them to that place. It was in ruins and most of the buildings had collapsed, with only a few remaining. The surroundings were filled with rubble and debris. Boom! Before Zhao Fu could get close, an explosion sounded out. Someone had arrived before him. Zhao Fu immediately flew into the depths of the ruins and saw a handsome young man fighting with a woman wearing blood-colored clothes with a flower of blood on her head. Terrifying shock waves continuously spread out, blowing away the rubble and causing deafening sounds. Chapter 2662. Volume 1 or Chapter 107. The 2 people's strengths were about the same, so it would take some time for a victor to be decided. Because of the appearance of Zhao Fu and the others, the 2 people did not use their full strength, as they were worried that Zhao Fu would attack them. That woman is a blood spirit flower that's thousands of years old. Her blood can allow men and women to maintain their youthful appearances, and it's a very rare treasure. Hearing this, Zhao Fu smiled and said, You did well. I'll reward you later." The blood spirit tree had a bitter expression and did not say anything. Zhao Fu looked at the sky and yelled, "Can't you guys end this battle quickly?" The 2 people fighting in the sky stopped and the handsome man said, "I'm Long Blood Sex Shueya. May I know your name?" Zhao Fu said, "There's no need to introduce yourself. I want this blood spirit flower. If you don't leave now, we'll fight." Long Blood Sect let out a sigh of relief and said, "My goal is not this blood spirit flower but the blood spirit divine pill on her. I need to take this blood spirit divine pill back to save my big sister. If you can give me this medicinal pill, I'll greatly thank you. Zhao Fu turned to look at the blood spirit tree and asked, "What's the medicinal pill for?" The blood spirit tree said, "The medicinal pill has powerful blood energy and can bring the dead back to life. It can also heal a large amount of blood essence loss." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "That's not a problem." Shui Wuya smiled and said, "Then let's work together. With your help, we should be able to subdue this blood spirit flower quickly." The blood spirit flower coldly harumphed and said, "Despicable and shameless. If you have the ability, then go one by one." Zhao Fu lightly laughed and said, "All of you stand down. I'll do it by myself." Seeing how confident Zhao Fu was, Shui Wuya felt that Zhao Fu was very powerful, so he nodded and retreated to the side. The blood spirit flower's expression became serious, and she understood that Zhao Fu was very powerful. The blood spirit flower decided to attack first. Wielding the sword formed from its petals, it quickly charged at Zhao Fu. It vigorously swung its sword and a blood-red sword arc slashed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu remained calm. With a wave of his sword fingers, a black sword arc appeared and cut the blood-colored sword arc in half. The blood spirit flower was stunned. She had not expected Zhao Fu to block her attack so easily. Zhao Fu stretched out a hand and a formless energy flowed out, turning into a large formless hand that grabbed at the blood spirit flower. The blood spirit flower's body transformed into countless petals, dodging Zhao Fu's attack. Zhao Fu looked in another direction, and the blood spirit flower quickly fled in that direction. Now she understood how strong Zhao Fu was, and she was not his match at all. The blood spirit flower turned and saw that Zhao Fu was still there, and she let out a sigh of relief. In that instant, a hand grabbed her throat, and the blood spirit flower looked at Zhao Fu in terror. How had Zhao Fu appeared in front of her in the next second? The blood spirit flower tried to struggle free from Zhao Fu's grasp. Zhao Fu tightened his grip, and the blood spirit flower immediately felt as if her throat was going to break. She found it difficult to breathe, and her legs kicked wildly. The blood spirit flower felt as if she was going to die. The blood spirit tree hurriedly cried out, "Don't kill her!" Zhao Fu loosened his grip on her throat, allowing her to breathe in a few breaths of fresh air. A massive wave of 6 desires demonic qi entered her body, controlling her body, and Zhao Fu let go of her. The blood spirit flower breathed heavily and looked at Zhao Fu in fear. Shui Wuya came in front of Zhao Fu and took out a few treasures as he said, "I'm willing to use these to exchange for the blood spirit divine pill." Zhao Fu said, "I don't want these. I want your essence blood and other essence blood." Shui Wuya's status was quite noble, and his bloodline was an imperial bloodline. If he absorbed the essence blood, he would be able to greatly increase his bloodline's power. Hearing this, Shui Wuya thought about it and gave some of his essence blood and some essence blood from his storage ring to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu put away the essence blood and looked at the blood spirit flower as he said, "Give him the medicinal pill." The blood spirit flower was very afraid of Zhao Fu, so it obediently took out a blood crystal-like medicinal pill and gave it to Shui Wuya. Shui Wuya took the medicinal pill and smiled as he said, "Many thanks. I'll be leaving now. If you pass by the Blood Long sect in the future, please let me know. I'll properly thank you then." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Shui Wuya turned into a ray of blood-red light and left. Zhao Fu looked at the terrified blood spirit flower and smiled as he hugged her and said softly, "If you're obedient, I won't hurt you." The blood spirit flower was still very nervous and did not dare to resist Zhao Fu. However, she understood that Zhao Fu would not kill her, so she let out a sigh of relief. Zhao Fu let go of the blood spirit flower and looked at the blood bamboo tree as he asked, "Where else are there treasures?" 2 days later, Zhao Fu went to a few more places and obtained a few more treasures. Zhao Fu did not want to stay in the center of the Blood Demon ruins any longer and planned to head to the depths of the ruins. After flying for a while, a voice sounded out, "Save me." Zhao Fu and the others stopped and looked in the direction of the voice. They saw a cute girl with blood-red hair tied into 2 ponytails and clothes made of grass surrounded by a group of ferocious-looking people. The girl saw that there were many people like her around Zhao Fu and thought that Zhao Fu was a good person, so she asked Zhao Fu for help. Hearing this, Zhao Fu gave a trace of a smile, and the others looked at him sympathetically. Zhao Fu flew over. A ferocious-looking big man coldly called out, "We found this blood-water grass with great difficulty, so I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." The blood-water grass was afraid that Zhao Fu would really leave, so she immediately said, "I know you're a good person and I'm willing to follow you. I don't want to be captured by these people, so please save me." Zhao Fu looked at the big man and lightly laughed as he said, "Did you hear that? She's willing to follow me, so hurry up and leave." The ferocious-looking big man was enraged and leapt up from the ground. He held his saber and gave off a powerful aura as he rushed towards Zhao Fu. He quickly arrived in front of Zhao Fu and vigorously slashed towards Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu calmly looked at the ferocious-looking big man and waved his fingers, causing a sharp black arc of light to flash out. Chi! The ferocious-looking big man's head was chopped off, causing blood to spurt out. His corpse powerlessly fell to the ground, causing some dust to fly up. This scared the others, who had wanted to rush over, to stop. Zhao Fu looked at the others and said, "Who wants to continue? My time is limited, so hurry up." Everyone looked around and no one dared to speak. Zhao Fu was much stronger than them, and even though they felt quite dissatisfied, they could only endure. Zhao Fu looked at the girl and smiled as he said, "Leave with me now and I'll protect you in the future." The girl happily nodded and said, "Thank you, big brother." A voice suddenly sounded out, "You can't take her away." Chapter 2663. Book 1, Chapter 108 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mikeir. Hearing this voice, everyone turned and saw a ferocious-looking woman with blood-red hair and clothes made of grass. The blood-water grass happily called out, "Big sis, you're finally here." The blood-spirit grass came to the blood-water grass's side and asked caringly, "Are you all right?" The blood-water grass happily shook her head, "I'm fine. It was this kind big brother who saved me." The blood-spirit grass said, "Thank you." After saying this, the blood-spirit grass took her little sister and left. Everyone else looked at Zhao Fu and did not dare to stop them. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It's best if you two follow me, or else it'll be very dangerous with your strength." The blood-water grass pulled on her big sister and said, "Big sis, big brother is right. Big brother is right. If the two of us meet an expert, it will be very dangerous. It's better to follow big brother. Look, there are people like us around him." The blood-spirit grass looked at the blood-water grass and the others. Even though they did not know them, as creatures of this world, they could be trusted. Zhao Fu also looked at the blood-water grass. Facing Zhao Fu's gaze, the blood-water grass said, He's a good person, a very good person. He'll save us creatures of the blood demon world. You can follow him without worry." The blood-water grass smiled as she said, "Big sis, did you hear that? I know big brother is very good." The blood-spirit grass thought about it and said, "All right. We sisters are willing to follow Lord." Zhao Fu gave a harmless smile and nodded, "Come with me." They continued to fly deeper into the historical remnant. "Big brother, the depths of the relic are very dangerous. Lord Blood Demon left behind many blood evil spirits that will kill anyone who enters that place." Zhao Fu hugged the young girl and said, "I know, but with my strength, there won't be any danger." The young girl's face became red, but she did not resist and nodded shyly. The blood-spirit grass looked quite displeased. How could this person take advantage of her little sister? Seeing that her little sister did not seem unhappy, she could not say anything. Soon, they met the so-called evil blood spirit. The evil blood spirits were humanoid and did not have corporeal bodies. There were men and women, old and young, and they gave off a blood-red light. The countless evil blood spirits sensed Zhao Fu and immediately gave off a massive aura as they flooded over. Facing so many evil blood spirits, they all felt quite afraid. Zhao Fu's smile did not change as a massive blood-red aura exploded out from his body and spread out in all directions. Sensing this massive aura, the countless evil blood spirits scattered like a flood. Zhao Fu's bloodline power was like a fish in water here, and it could suppress everything. The spirit grass said, Big brother is so strong." The spirit, evil blood spirit demon, spirit and flame. 1. 1 evil demon, 1, and 1 1 3 1 and 1 1, and 2 1 1 1 1 Zhao Fu, and 2 blood dragon tree said, "Can you save him? He is a blood warrior serving Sir Blood Demon." Zhao Fu was just about to ask if there were any benefits in saving him when the cute girl in his arms said, "Big brother, you're the best, please save that blood warrior, almost all of the blood demon realm blood warriors are dead now." Hearing this, Zhao Fu helplessly smiled as he flew up and shouted, "All of you, stop!" However, no one listened to him because the people fighting all had Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, and they completely ignored Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu cried out awkwardly, "Sigh. Didn't you hear me telling you to stop?" Everyone continued to fight, ignoring Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu frowned and a blood-red bead appeared in his hand. A large amount of blood flowed out, forming a massive blood-red sword. Zhao Fu vigorously swung out and a massive blood-red sword light slashed towards the 5 cultivators. The 5 people's expressions fell, and they hurriedly used their weapons to block, but they were all sent flying by Zhao Fu. The 5 people's expressions became serious. They had never thought that Zhao Fu's power would be so great. A scholarly-looking young man asked, "What do you want?" Zhao Fu said simply, "I want to save him. You can all stop fighting." If an ordinary person said this, they would laugh, but when Zhao Fu said this, they felt immense pressure. The scholarly-looking young man asked, "He is a blood demon world creature, why do you want to save him?" Zhao Fu asked, "Then why do you want to attack him?" The scholarly-looking young man said, "We didn't attack him first. He attacked us first. Could it be that we just let him attack?" Zhao Fu looked at the cold-looking young man and said, "All right. You don't need to attack them. Everyone doesn't need to fight anymore." The cold-looking young man said coldly, "Anyone who enters this place will die." The scholarly-looking young man lightly harumphed, "Did you see that? He also lists you as an enemy. It's best that you don't try to be a good person." Zhao Fu said helplessly, "You can leave. Leave him to me." The blood dragon tree and the others looked quite confused. They had come to save the cold-looking young man, so why were they helping others? The scholarly-looking young man smiled and said, "Thanks, I am Shi Qianhe from the Blood Dragon sect. Can we be friends?" Another person from the Blood Dragon sect? Zhao Fu remembered that he had met a person from the Blood Dragon sect before, and he had never thought that he would meet people from the Blood Dragon sect again. He wondered what sort of faction this Blood Dragon sect was. Zhao Fu smiled and said, "Sure, I'm called Blood Demon." Shi Qianhe felt quite startled. This name felt quite strange. After all, this was the Blood Demon historical remnant, so why was this person called Blood Demon? However, it was most likely a coincidence. Otherwise, this person would not have helped them. Shi Qianhe smiled and said, "We'll be leaving first." They continued to fly forwards, and the cold-looking young man took out a blood-red spear and wanted to continue blocking them. A stream of blood qi poured into Zhao Fu's golden eye, and a number of blood-red chains shot out from the void towards the cold-looking young man. The cold-looking young man waved his spear and sent the chains flying, but there were too many of them. The cold-looking young man could not resist, and was eventually bound by them. Zhao Fu looked at the blood dragon tree and the others. "I'll leave him to you now." The blood dragon tree and the others arrived in front of the cold-looking young man. The cold-looking young man's expression softened when he saw them. "You don't need to save me. The blood warrior's duty is to guard this place." The blood spirit flower said, "We all worship, respect, and love Sir Blood Demon, but Sir Blood Demon has been dead for so long. We need to think more about ourselves and not act like we did before." The cold-looking young man fell silent. The blood watergrass said, "We're now following Big Brother, and he's a very good person. We'll follow him and leave this place. You might as well follow him and become a master in the future. Perhaps you can even avenge Sir Blood Demon." Yes. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.